Colorado State getting ready to meet Navy, and after an 0-2 start, Navy posted a 7-2 record. They run the triple option so effectively. With more on that, let's go to Dave Ryan. Dave?
All right, Gary, thanks so much. A big part of that Navy triple option attack is sophomore fullback Adam Ballard, who ran wild in the regular season finale for the Mids against Army with 192 rushing yards. Now, certainly tonight, he's concentrating on beating Colorado State, but he says when his Navy football career is over, he's going to concentrate on being a United States Marine. He's got the patch tonight to honor the Corps. He told us in meeting with him yesterday that he would love to be a Marine Corps soldier on the field in Iraq, serving now, though he knows it's very dangerous for the Marines. And Gary, it's that kind of unconditional love of country for a guy like Adam Ballard, that dedication to the Navy that makes him very valuable on the football field tonight for the Mids and on the battlefield as a Marine in the future.
I tell you, it just shows you what great hands our country's in. You see guys like Ballard. Here's Paul Johnson. He's returned Navy to prominence, taking the midshipmen to a third straight bowl game. They've won the Commander-in-Chief's trophy for the third straight season, 25-11 the last 3 years. He's a program restorer, second to none. And Sonny Lubick, in his 13th year, the winningest coach in the school's history. No one has meant more to Colorado State football. 6th bowl trip in the last 7 years, 4 times the conference coach of the year. Navy won the toss. They have deferred. Colorado State will receive. And as we mentioned at the start of this broadcast, the first time these two schools have ever met. And Navy coming in here at 7-4 after starting 0-2. Colorado State had to win their final game in the regular season to become bowl eligible. They come in here at 6-5, 5-3 in the Mountain West, which is a tie for second with BYU in the conference. Joey Buller will kick off. And back deep, you just saw Robert Herbert. Herbert along with George Hill. Here is Bullen. Bullen is a sophomore out of St. Simons Island, Georgia. Originally recruited as a soccer player, now the man who's doing all the kicking for Paul Johnson's midshipmen. Beautiful night for football. The inaugural of the Poinsettia Bowl is underway. Bullen hits it to the near side. It's going to be taken by George Hill. Hill across the 20, fights his way up to the 23-yard line, and Colorado State will start there. Let's take a look now. We've talked a lot about Justin Holland, the fact that how he goes, so goes his team. 20 touchdown passes. Kyle Bell, a sophomore sensation, gained over 1,000 yards rushing. Their outstanding receiving corps, led by Anderson, Dustin Osborne, Corey Sperry's just a sophomore. He's got a great future ahead, and Matt Bart's the tight end. And up front, Albert Bemper. He is the bell cow up front. Bryzell, second team all-conference. I think Oldenburg will be next year. First down now. They mark it at the 23-yard line. Holland to throw on first down. Sperry makes the catch. That is going to be a catch out to the 30-yard line. Corey Sperry, and here defensively is Navy. Navy with Chase, one of the co-captains, Silk, and Chan, who comes out of a great high school program in California. Linebackers outstanding. Mahoney, Caldwell, the leading tackler, Biles the second. Tidwell's made so many big plays this year for Navy. Keenan Little has really come on strong. Thrasher, a sophomore. McGowan, we'll talk more about him, his toughness, and DeJuan Price. Second down now, along two, handoff to Bell, and Kyle Bell's got the first down for Colorado State. Brings it out to the 39-yard line. Tidwell made the stop, and Kyle Bell has been something sensational. Out of Keensburg, Colorado, that's just east of Fort Collins. He came out of a very small school, but he plays big.
He plays big, Gary, and he handles the football extremely well. He's had 2 fumbles and 254, now 255 carries this year. Only 1 lost fumble on the season. That's great ball security. One of the most important things for a young back.
First down now. Bell gained more yards as a sophomore than anybody in Colorado State history. Quick pass complete to Sperry again. They said they had a package in for him, and they've gone to him quickly. The former high school quarterback out of Pueblo, Colorado. 19-yard pickup on the play. Greg Thrasher over to make the tackle.
And they're getting this young man Sperry involved early. David Anderson, the great receiver, out front blocking, number 4. You'll see him at the end of the play here. He's got his face right in the numbers of Greg Thrasher, number 20.
I think what's happened here early, Coach, is they've got Holland settled in. That's important in this ball game. Let him throw some passes that have some good opportunities to be completed.
Nice completions, get him started with his confidence.
First down now to the 42-yard line of Navy. The initial series of the game. Holland on a sprint draw handoff to Bell. Bell inside the 40, fights his way down to the 37-yard line. Bell, a 225-pound sophomore. Eventually, the tackle is made by David Mahoney. Bell is just a class kid. You talk to him, he's the kind of guy that you'd want to go into battle with. He is very impressive.
Yeah, he's a foxhole guy. I mean, even though he's playing against the middies tonight, he's the kind of guy that you'd like to have in the Marine Corps as well. Grew up on a farm, just tough as nails.
That's right, and that farm was about a 500-acre farm, and he talks about he learned his work ethic on the farm. Second down and 5. Bell again, and Bell this time negotiates the 35. He'll be knocked down a couple of yards short of the first down. Tackled by Jack Biles, the senior, who waited 3 years to be a starter. So Bell off to a great start. He was Colorado's high school all-time leading rusher.
Both these defenses really have struggled on third down. They have a tough time getting off the field. Navy gives up 44% first downs, and this 3rd and 2 situation, exactly what the offense wants in a case like this.
Third down now and a long 2. Colorado State with the opening series. Dustin Osborne comes in motion. Back to throw as Holland's got time. He completes it to Sperry, and that'll be the first down. Corey Sperry to the 30. This guy was an outstanding high school basketball player in Pueblo. Thought about going out for the Colorado State basketball team.
Coaches talked about Sperry at length with us because we had noticed him in practice. He's such a great-looking physical specimen. They want to get the ball to him early and often, and that's exactly what they've done, as he's been the featured part of the offense so far.
They say he's close to 6'7", weighs 233 pounds. He's already caught 3 passes for 32 yards. First down now, just short of the Navy. A very impressive opening drive here for the Rams. Play action, Holland. Got time, over the middle, overthrown at the 10-yard line. Double coverage that time on Sperry, as that was DeJuan Price who was there defending. And Justin Holland is a guy who has a great arm, but Bill, from time to time, he will force a football.
And what he did that time was to not force it, Gary. They had the receiver covered front and back. He was doubled. The linebacker got good depth. The safety was behind. And what Justin did was to do exactly what he should have. He threw the ball away so he'd get another chance to play instead of trying to force it in there and getting it intercepted.
Holland has thrown 15 interceptions this year. They go back to Bell. And Bell inside the 25. Spins his way to the 23. Jeremy McGowan there to make the tackle. The thing they were concerned about on Bell is sometimes he starts very slowly in the game. He needs to get the feel of the game. Well, I think he's got it tonight.
I think they got a message across to young Kyle. Look, we've had enough of the slow starts. Let's get going early. Really good help by Brendan Alconso, the left guard, number 70, on John Chan, the fine defensive end for Navy. Good blocking up front so far by the Rams.
You can see 8th place and already 54 yards. They've used 3 tight ends from time to time, and they are now. Back to throw is Holland. Sperry makes a one-hand grab to the 5. He's to the 2. What a remarkable catch by Corey Sperry. He caught it on his hip. A 22-yard pickup of the play. First and goal for the Rams.
Gary, this is exactly what we saw of him on the practice field, and we thought, wow, look at this guy's athletic ability. He slips the potential block down the sideline on a trail route, and nobody in the coverage, and this is a beautiful hand-eye coordination because the throw is not particularly good. He turns, just plucks it with one hand and makes it look like there's nothing to it.
And Colorado State is moving. You could see Sperry with 4 catches, 54 yards. First and goal down the 2-yard line. Hand off to Bell, and Bell fighting for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Colorado State. What an impressive beginning for Sonny Lubick's team.
And it looks like to me, Gary, that Albert Bimper, number 77, the centers returned to action. He was out for a long time. Josh Day, Clint Oldenburg on the right side of that offensive line just had a really nice drive for an opener.
And there is Bimper. He is the guy who is so funny, a very jovial guy. The team loves him, and he can play. The point after is up by Jason Smith. Smith hit it. It's 7-0. Sperry made a remarkable catch here, Bill, that set up the run by Bell. Sperry taking it to the 2, and Bell then able to pound it in, and Colorado State strikes first. Sonny Lubick could not have asked for a better beginning to a football game. They drove that ball 77 yards in 10 plays. Took 3 minutes and 54 seconds. Holland was superb. Bell was very good. He carried the ball 5 times for 23 yards and that touchdown. And that's the way Sonny Lubick would have drawn it on the blackboard.
When we sat down with him, the first thing he said is we need to keep the ball and we need to score some points. That seems obvious, but they've had a hard time doing that lately.
And now Kevin Mark will be kicking off for Colorado State. This is very returnable. It's going to be Reggie Campbell, one of their slot backs. He's across the 40, and the sophomore takes it out to the 45-yard line. 28-yard return. Kochevar made the tackle, and here is one of those A-backs. Marco Nelson along with Campbell. Adam Ballard, the sophomore, who has really stepped up big time. We've talked about Lamar Owens, the quarterback. Titus is like a tight end. He's only caught 1 pass. Tomlinson is their leading receiver with 24 at the start of the night. Up front, Pritchett, along with Green, veterans, Rossi, and Harper, who they say has a mean streak, and Gallion, a big junior at the other guard. First down now at the 45-yard line for the midshipmen. Their first snap of the game. Down 7-0. Here they go to the triple option. Back to throw. Is Owens up the middle. Wide open. The catch by Campbell. He's gone. Touchdown, Navy. Oh, my. 55 yards. And just like that, Navy comes back.
Gary, when we talked about Owens in the open, we talked about his leadership and his decisiveness. We did not talk about the fact that his average catch is 19.2 yards. His average per pass is over 10 yards, and this is the reason. Play action, the safeties come up to Phil as if it is a running play because they expect it so much. Wide open Campbell for the touch.
And that's his first catch of the year for a touchdown. 55 yards as Lamar Owens strikes in a hurry. 1 snap, and they have tied this game up. Campbell, the sophomore out of Sanford, Florida. And you don't think their leader doesn't love this start? You're watching ESPN2 College Football, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl between Colorado State and the Navy midshipmen. Due to time constraints, we're moving ahead in our coverage. Holland, a flag on the play. They're going to blow this play dead. They gave the ball to Jimmy Green. The ball fumbled, but they're going to blow the play dead, I believe, before it even got underway.
Colorado State has really struggled in the red zone, scoring touchdowns only about 54% of the time. That's a very poor percentage. You want to be at least 70% in scoring touchdowns when you get inside the 20-yard line.
The officials from the Mid-America Conference in charge of this game tonight. This is Stan Evans.
Here's what the officials are discussing. They're trying to discuss if the defender moves into the neutral zone and an offensive lineman directly across or just adjacent to him moves in defending of himself, then the call is against the defense. Otherwise, it's against the offense. If the offense moves first, certainly it's on the offense, and they're making sure, and it's a good idea when they confer this way.
Both coaches, you can see, pensively looking on, and here is the call.
Before the play began, there's a false start on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Please reset the game clock to 7 minutes, 36 seconds. 7 minutes, 36 seconds.
So that means it'll be 4th and 6, and they're going to bring in Jason Smith to attempt a field goal. And he's been very good. He's kicked the last 4 games for the Rams. He's 8 of 9.
Gary, he's done a great job, but this is a tough angle for a right-footed kicker. They have a hard time on the right hash for some reason.
It's going to be an attempt of 34 yards. The kick is on the way. Got nice height on it, and the kick is good. And Colorado State has scored both times they've had the football. One the touchdown, now the field goal. And so the Rams on top, 10-7, 7:24 in the first. You're watching ESPN2 College Football, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl between the Colorado State Rams and the Navy Midshipmen. The ESPN College Football Encyclopedia is the biggest, richest reference guide ever published on the history of college football. Read about the profiles, records, and statistical leaders, and fight-song lyrics of all 119 Division I programs, the Ivy League schools, and the most prominent historically black colleges dating back to 1869. Available now wherever books are sold. Due to time constraints, we're moving ahead in our coverage right after these messages. This is the inaugural Poinsettia Bowl in beautiful San Diego. San Diego Bay, a real presence here by the Navy, and Christmas is certainly in full form. They have to make up snow here. It never snows in San Diego, to say the very least. It was shirt-sleeve weather most of the time. And thus far, Colorado State, Bill, this is astounding what they've done thus far. They've run 24 plays already in this game.
That's right. And Navy has run a total of 7 offensively. Big danger here that the Navy defense could get ground down. They desperately need a stop right here.
4th down, 9 yards to go. Colorado State called the timeout to engineer what they think will work. 3 wideouts. Here's Holland looking to the far side, scrambling out of the pocket, spins, and he's going to be short of the 1st down, tackled at the 31-yard line. That's the first time they've really gotten in Holland's face. Jeremy Chase, one of the co-captains, number 49 on the stopper.
Wonderful job of coverage. This is a rush with 3, cover with 8. David Anderson, no way is he going to have a chance to be open. Holland in the pocket. Watching. That was not a 3-man rush. They brought the linebacker. Jake Biles came, so they had a little more pressure than I had thought. And when he popped out of there, which was the only thing he had to do, he couldn't make it because he doesn't have that kind of foot speed.
Holland, coming out of high school, is a Colorado Player of the Year. Set all kinds of passing records. Here is a pitch now coming to the near side, and Reggie Campbell able to get the corner, comes across the 35, close to the 40-yard line, a gain of 8.
Triple option is so called because there are 3 things that can happen. Obviously, the ball can go to Ballard, the fullback. Owens, the quarterback, can keep it and continue on his course down the line of scrimmage. And, of course, if he's forced to pitch, then Nelson and Campbell should be in that pitch relationship that we have demonstrated and talked about already.
They talk about their 2 slot backs as the Smurfs. They're 5'6" and 5'7". Bill, I thought you had a good point about that. We'll get to that in a little bit as Owens is back to throw. He's got time, throws far side, overthrown. He tried to hit Campbell at the 40-yard line. The point that you were making, Bill Curry, was that a lot of running backs do not have height. A lot of your outstanding running backs, even in the NFL, are not 6 foot, 6'1".
Well, people look at these Navy backs and say, gee, they're little bitty guys, but they're not little bitty guys. They just aren't tall. They are massive and thick and strong. There are more running backs in the NFL under 5'9" than there are over 6 feet. So these guys can play. They're tough. Reggie Campbell squats 460 pounds.
He is 5'6". Marco Nelson, his counterpart at the other slot back, is 5'7". Here's Owens on the keeper and reaches out. The ball is loose, and Colorado State falls on it. They have it. Another turnover as Owens having trouble hanging on to the football. It's Kochevar, number 30, Miles Kochevar, who came up with it. He is the senior safety out of Fruita, Colorado.
I'll tell you what, Gary, in the warm-ups, I thought Navy was more spirited. I was wrong. Colorado State has come out here to play some football tonight, not just on offense, but their defense is taking it personally. They're getting penetration. They're forcing depth on Owens. They're knocking the ball loose. Jeff Horenick and John Radford on the tackle there to force that fumble.
We may be under a review once again. They will, to see if he was down before the ball came out. If not, that would be the 2nd fumble by Owens in this football game that Paul Johnson's team has lost. So we will see if, in fact, he was down before the ball came out, as Owens, again, not as sharp as he was in that Army game where he was just running the ball with precision.
He was, and this offense is given to turnovers. I mean, you are vulnerable. Anytime you're looking to try to, he can't put that ball away and secure it the way he normally would if he were just running with it.
I think he was down on that, Bill.
It looked like the knee was on the ground before the ball came out. Now, we couldn't see it from this angle, but the first angle that we saw it, it looked that way. We ought to be able to tell here. Yeah, he's down. That knee's on the ground. He's still got possession of the football. They'll give the ball back to Navy. But here's the thing. Here's the thing to understand. The reason this is a high-risk offense, that ball is not secured against his rib cage the way it normally would be, because he's carrying it with the intent of pitching it if necessary.
And, Bill, you made a good point. Colorado State is playing on the edge right now. They are playing really well. They are getting people to the football. They are really playing good responsibilities against the option thus far.
On the other hand, they are very vulnerable to the play-action pass, as we've already seen, not once but twice. There's the knee on the ground. The ball's still in his possession. That is not a fumble. So what Colorado State is saying, Steve Stanner, the defensive coordinator for Colorado State, is saying, if you can hit those passes, you're going to hurt us, but we're not going to let you run your base offense. This is a defense that has defended Air Force Academy really well many times.
Well, they talk about the Air Force option is different from the Navy option, and right now the review is still going on. Our second. And let's go down to Dave Ryan. Rhino?
Yeah, Gary and Bill standing just a few feet away from Lamar Owens, the Navy quarterback, when he came out the field after that fumble, shaking his head, really disappointed and disgusted with himself. But he did get a lot of help and encouragement from his teammates coming over and saying, hey, don't worry about it. Hopefully that's not a fumble. Get your head back in the game. Interesting to see the great leadership Gary had talked about earlier with Owens. He's very upset right now. We'll see if he can rebound.
Yeah, I would count on this guy rebounding. I mean, he has got great integrity, and he's out of Savannah, Georgia. He went to Georgia Southern. He'd committed there, and then when Paul Johnson left Georgia Southern, he followed him over to the Naval Academy. His mother, Kim, is a nurse, and a couple of times when Lamar wasn't sure he was going to hang in there, and then his mother, the nurse, made sure that he was going nowhere.
Oh, you're going to hang in there. You're going to stay at the Naval Academy. But he didn't like it much when you said that he followed Coach Johnson. He said, well, I went on a visit and I liked it. I mean, I was surprised. He said, and then he said something really telling. He said, it's so beautiful there. And it's just so impressive. And he was impressed with the academics and all the things that you should be.
Well, he was a 3-year understudy, and this year becoming the #1 quarterback, and he has done an outstanding job. I love his leadership. It's just fun to be around him, and you can see why Paul Johnson is elected to put his football fortunes in the seniors' hands, because he can trust him.
Well, I'll tell you this. We got some folks in the review booth up here that are flat out taking they must enjoy this, watching this thing. How many times do you have to watch it to tell what's going on?
Are you being critical, Bill?
I'm being critical. It's taking this is too long. I don't like this.
I agree. This first quarter is taking a long time to play.
You ought to be able to do that in a minute or two.
After review, there is indisputable video evidence that the runner's knee was down before the ball became loose. The ball will be placed at the 43-yard line, first down.
Well, let's look at it again. I think we've already determined that we thought he was down.
But we've also determined what the defensive strategy of Colorado State is. They are not going to let Navy run up and down the field with the option. If they want to throw the ball, we're probably not going to cover your guy. That's what they're saying. They've hit one and missed one in the past.
So Navy gets a reprieve. They get the football back. It'll be a first down now, and here comes Owens again. Owens is going to keep this one. He'll be grounded as he gets to the 45. A gain of 2. It'll bring up a second down. Jesse Nading, who's out of the Denver area, Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Excellent scheme by Colorado State to get penetration, all kinds of white shirts in the backfield. Excellent play by the linebacker core. Jamal Hall taking the pitch, hitting him in the backfield. Kochevar all over the football, And I'm telling you, the play action is open virtually every play. And
that's
sooner or later, you're going to see it again.
That's what you were saying. And here they go. The play action. You called it. Up the middle. That catch is made. And it's going to be Shun White. He was a true freshman. You haven't heard a lot about this guy out of Memphis. A true freshman. His first catch of the year. A 29-yard grab. First down, Navy.
And watch what this does to number 30, Kochevar. He can't make up his mind. Is this run? Is this pass? He's just about to rush up to take the pitch back because that's his first job when he is run by the young tailback.
Well, you called it. That's what they're vulnerable to.
Shun White ran right by him.
Isn't that amazing? White has hardly played this year. Makes a big play here in the bowl game. Here's a pitch to the near side. And that is White again. White, an all-state track guy out of Raleigh, Egypt High School in Memphis. He had carried the ball one time, had not caught a pass previous to the last one. But you see Paul Johnson has rewarded him. And you can see tonight they are throwing the ball. But you said it, Bill. That's what Colorado State's elected to give up. Colorado
State's going to make them throw the football. That's what they're doing. Kochevar filled and made that tackle just then.
And we've played one quarter here at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. And it's Colorado State on top by 3. Some of the scenery we've enjoyed here in San Diego as we've come to this inaugural Poinsettia Bowl. Just a gorgeous area. And tonight's telecast on ESPN2 HD is available in high definition. Presented by Phillips. So that first quarter time of possession, a staggering number. Colorado State had the ball 11 minutes and 28 seconds to Navy's 3:32. But Navy now, after getting a break on the fumble, still having possession of the football, start the second quarter with a second down now. 6 yards to go at the 22 of Colorado State. Ballard, the big fullback, the sophomore. And a fake to him. Owens pitches back, running to the near side, taking it in. Touchdown is going to be Marco Nelson, 22 yards out. The senior from Scottsdale, Arizona, Chaparral High School. He got the corner, and it was over. There was nobody for Colorado State able to stop that one.
Okay, Gary, you mentioned time of possession. You've got the ball 11 minutes and 30 seconds in the first quarter. They run a little trap option here. Your linebackers get caught up inside. The pitch is outside. Horinek cannot run with the fleet Marco Nelson, and it's in the end zone. And all of a sudden, you're behind, and that time of possession doesn't feel so good.
Nelson with his 5th touchdown of the year. The point after is blocked. It is blocked. And that looked like Jesse Nading, the sophomore defensive end, who got a hand on it and knocked it down. And so Navy now up 13-10 after this run by Marco Nelson. Nelson dashes in. And Navy with the lead, 13-10. You're watching ESPN2 College Football, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl between Colorado State and the Navy Midshipmen. Due to time constraints, we're moving ahead in our coverage.
ESPN2 College Football, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, is brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union, proud sponsor of the Make-A-Wish Foundation of San Diego. And in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Welcome back to Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego, the inaugural Poinsettia Bowl, as now Navy takes over the 20-yard line. Interestingly enough, one of the things that concerned Colorado State was the big fullback, Ballard. He's only carried the ball one time thus far in the ball game. Back to throw is Owens. He avoids the on-rushing lineman. Comes to the 25 and able to get to the 28-yard line. A very nice ad-lib effort to pick up a bait on the play. Jamal Hall over to make the stop. Pressure from Courtney Jones that time. You can see how effective they were. That's #1 in the nation. You can see yards per carry, rushes per game. I mean, this triple option is a handful. It's a big equalizer as far as athletic ability is concerned. Second down now, 2 yards to go. Owens, quick pitch, near side, and this is going to be Marco Nelson. And he goes to the 35. That'll be a first down. First down for the midshipmen.
We've talked a lot about the triple option. Here's the true triple option, which is the staple of the Navy 305-yard production. 3 options. The quarterback comes out. He looks straight at the defensive lineman. The defensive tackle puts the ball in the fullback's stomach. When the defensive lineman closes, he accelerates down the line of scrimmage to the end man on the line of scrimmage. When he comes at the quarterback, then he pitches, the 3rd option.
First down now, play action by Owens. Owens throwing the near side, and coming up with a grab is going to be O.J. Washington, or did he trap the ball? And they're going to give it to him. He did make the catch. So Washington on the receiving end, the sophomore out of Tacoma, Washington. That's his first catch of the year. I'm amazed how many people Paul Johnson is using tonight, Bill, that statistically weren't even showing up in the first part of the year.
He's doing that on purpose because Colorado State was so prepared for their base offense.
Here's a quick pitch now to Sean White, another one of those guys we were talking about, the true freshman. And he's got a first down across the 40 to the 48-yard line. Well, Paul Johnson has put this Navy program back to respectability and then some. 3 straight bowl games, 3 straight Commander-in-Chief's trophies. They've beaten Army 4 times. They're 3-1 against Air Force. I mean, you talk about a guy that has been successful. He was outstanding at Georgia Southern, Bill. He was 62-10 there and won 2 Division I AA titles. Quick pitch coming into the near side this time, and they're going to move the ball to the 41. That will be Sean White again. So White able to move to the 41. They continue to gobble up yardage. It'll bring up 2nd down and 3. Make that Marco Nelson on the carry that particular time.
What they've done the last 2 plays is they've gone away from the option, and they're just running nothing but a toss sweep. And these guys come in motion. They're already on a dead run, and they're faster than the Colorado State contained people.
What was it that Paul Johnson said? I don't care about size. I want speed. We recruit speed. Oh, my goodness. It looked like the pitch man took a real shot. Owens kept the ball. The pitch coming to Nelson. He got tattooed, but Owens kept the ball, fortunately, on the play.
Well, he did, and this is one of the beautiful things about a wishbone quarterback. Watch him fake the pitch. Yeah, pull it back in, put it away. Now, that's legal. You can hit that guy behind the line of scrimmage, and that's the tough thing about being a pitchback. Robert Herbert, number 6 for Colorado State, knows that, and he wants that Marco Nelson to understand, if you're going to be running around as a pitchback, we're going to come hit you.
Yeah, Nelson's out of the game right now. They're looking him over. Sean White is coming to the game. Here's a fake to the fullback. Owens keeps it, pulls it back out, and on a first down, picks up about a yard. Jamal Hall, and it's good to see him playing in this game with that bad knee and all.
Yeah, Jamal's doing a great job, but that was a busted play. That's a very infrequent thing in a Paul Johnson offense. Very seldom do you see mistakes. Somebody went the wrong way there. There was no pitch back, so Owens just tried to do the best he could with it, and he made a yard.
Paul Johnson has been having a lot of trouble with his back. He said he moved a sofa for his wife. He felt a tweak in the back, and ever since then he's been battling to get that back in order. And now here is Owens pitching back. And a big stick put on Reggie Campbell. I'm telling you right now, Herbert has had back-to-back hits that has just absolutely caused a great reaction from the crowd. And watch and listen.
Now, Robert Herbert, number 6, is supposed to be being blocked by somebody, probably Jason Tomlinson, 87. And there'll be a meeting of the pitchbacks with Jason. Hey, come on, get in that guy's face, would you please?
I'm going to tell you, Navy's not going to have any slot backs back remaining the way this game's going. Herbert has just unloaded twice. Owens, quick pitch this time. Campbell across the 25, spins his way to the 20, and they're going to reel him out of bounds back at the 22-yard line. Very resourceful run by Reggie Campbell. He got a big block from Sean White on Hrenek. Another first down for Navy.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the option. We've also talked about the quick pitch. The quarterback either hands the ball to the fullback, keeps the ball, pitches to the what we call a split back or an A back, or the 4th option is that, and we've seen it tonight, he fakes those things, drops back and throws the ball. Invariably the receiver is open if he can hit him and if the O-line can protect him.
We have a man shaking up for Colorado State, John Radford, the junior college linebacker has left the game. He went running off the field after that last play. Lamar Owens back to throw into the corner, out of the field of play as he tried to make the connection that time to Jason Tomlinson, his leading receiver. Tomlinson out of Arlington, Texas, could not get to the football. It'll bring up a second down, 10 yards to go.
Herbert's having a heck of a game. He had nice coverage there, and that's the first time tonight we've seen somebody close to a Navy receiver.
So they're going to mark the ball back at the 22-yard line. Second down, 10, 7:25 to go in the first half of play. 13-10, Navy on top. Owens, thus far, really hasn't established the fullback. He's going to go on the option. He has Campbell trailing, pitches, wide open, touchdown, Navy. Beautifully executed by Owens.
Yeah, this is a play that they've used well tonight. We haven't talked much about it. It's called a trap option. And what they do is fake the ball to the fullback with the quarterback reversing out. Watch him reverse out, turn back the opposite way. It freezes the linebackers. He's down to the pitch man, who's the end man on the line of scrimmage. But Kochevar can't get to the pitch back because he's been deceived by the fake to the fullback.
Deceived is a good word. Both Nelson and now Campbell have 22-yard touchdown runs back-to-back for Navy, and Bullen able to get that one through. Fifth rushing touchdown for Reggie Campbell.
One more look at the trap option, perfectly executed by Lamar Owens and Reggie Campbell for the touchdown, 20-10.
After Navy had fallen behind 7-0 early in this ball game and then trailed 10-7, they have now been able to put 20 points on the scoreboard. They lead at 20-10. That was an 80-yard drive in 11 plays. Took 4 minutes and 7 seconds. And Campbell on the drive with that touchdown run had 3 carries for 33. So Sonny Lubbock's team now having to get their offense back on track.
Well, they better get it back on track. This is how Navy wears you down.
Bullen is going, and it's going to be hauled in by Hill. He's going to bring it out to the 10, to the near side, to the 15, to the 20, to the 23. It looked like that might have been an ill-advised move, but he is able to pick up an additional couple of yards. Today's Aflac trivia question is, who was the MVP of the inaugural Holiday Bowl in 1978?
I know.
I do too. Is that cheating? No? Did we know ahead of time?
Because they told us.
Well, inside information.
This is a big drive for Colorado State. If they go 3 and out here, if they let Navy have that ball back, they're liable to be way behind before they get to halftime.
From the 23-yard line, Justin Holland now will set up shop for Colorado State. Gives to Bell. Bell trying to find some running room, stays on his feet. And with a good tough run, comes across the 25 to the 27. Keenan Little, the cornerback, coming up to make the stop for Navy. Little, junior out of Bowling Spring, North Carolina, who's been a very smart physical football player. There's DeJuan Price as well, the junior out of Austin. Second down coming up, 6 yards to go. So thus far, Bell was 79 yards rushing. He got this game started well for Colorado State. On that first drive, scoring the touchdown, a 77-yard drive. That was the best moment of the night for the Rams. Here's a pass complete to Anderson. Open field move, trying to get up the field further, and very close to the first down as he lunges forward. At the last moment at the 33, Greg Thrasher over to make the tackle.
David Anderson, such a threat in the open field. They're just giving him the little ball behind the line of scrimmage here. Not much of a lead block because his guy can't get out there. Clint Olenberg trying to get out there, not able to get in front of him, and wisely pulled off. Did not hit the defender in the back, which would have been a huge mistake, but Anderson got it close enough for the measurement.
They're going to bring the sticks in. Anderson just did a very good job, and he did get the first down for Colorado State. So as you mentioned, Bill, they needed this. Colorado State needed some success, not give the ball back to Navy the way they're hitting on all cylinders right now. And here's the answer to our Aflac trivia question. Who was the MVP of the inaugural Holiday Bowl in 1978? Phil McConkey, who went on to play with the New York Giants, a Navy wide receiver.
Yep, terrific football player.
First down now. After that remarkable play by Anderson in the open field, here's an end around reverse faked, and they hand it off instead straight ahead, and Bell is able to take it to the 42. This was the inaugural Holiday Bowl. As we talked about Bill McConkey, Navy wide receiver, the MVP. He just stole the show. His 2 rushes for 42 yards and a 65-yard touchdown catch that capped a 13-point rally in the 4th quarter and gave Navy the comeback win over BYU 23-16.
And that was a George Welsh football team, and any George Welsh team is extremely well coached. You can be sure of that.
2nd down, a yard to go after that fake up the middle and giving to Bell, and here's Bell getting the 1st down, and then some. Jimmy Green carrying the ball, and here's the guy we were talking about, and he's with Dave Ryan.
That's right. Here's the MVP himself, Phil McConkey. 27 years to the day, that Holiday Bowl, the first ever Holiday Bowl, and a big win over BYU. Phil, how would you say your time in the Navy as a naval pilot helped you in the business world and the NFL with the Giants?
Well, it's all about leadership, and it's about teamwork, and these guys exemplify that. We did back then, and after 4 years at this place, everything in life is easy.
Gary?
Here's Holland throwing the near side. We're both laughing. That's a great comment, Rhino. Take it again.
Phil, you're a 164-pound player in the NFL. You won a Super Bowl, had that big game against Denver, and tonight we're seeing Navy with some small players do a lot of great things. What does it take for a smaller player to be successful?
Well, I think it's again, it's all about leadership. They got great leadership here with Paul Johnson. We had it with George Welsh, but teamwork and that kind of intensity can overcome anything, and it's all about heart, and these guys have plenty of it. We were small and slow. These guys are small but fast.
Tell us, what are you up to now, Phil? You moved from the New York area to Southern California.
Moved to Southern California. It's San Diego's always been good to me. The Holiday Bowl, the Navy, Chargers, and it's still good to me right now, the way this team's playing.
Great to see you. Thank you. Gary.
All right, thank you, Rhino. There was a quick pass in the flat to Rob Sperry. He could not get turned up the field, and he's dropped. It'll bring up the 3rd down now. 3rd down and still about 13 yards to go for Colorado State. That was Greg Thrasher, the sophomore cornerback who came up to make the stop.
And you know who he beat? He beat David Anderson. He just did a great job of getting up the field, and Anderson was not able to get to him to make his block, and that's not the norm.
4 wideouts. Trips formation. Top of the field for Justin Holland. Holland trying to set up a screen. Gets it to Bell. Bell makes a spin move, but he's going to be dropped about 9 yards short of the 1st down. I mean, Tidwell really hitting. I mean, Tidwell's been all over the football field, and there's a good example of it. The junior out of Edmond, Oklahoma. They talk about he's evolved into being a playmaker, and there was a big play.
We've got him for 9 tackles unofficially. That's just our count, but you're right. You don't make 9 tackles in a quarter and a half unless you are all over the field.
Good reaction that time by Navy. It'll bring up 4th down, 9 yards to go. Tomlinson will go back. Kaler will punt this one. The last one was 45 yards, but it made it in for a touchback. Good snap. Kaler's punt high into the air. And calling for the fair catch is Tomlinson. He makes it at the 10-yard line. So Navy will have it there as we have 3:40 to go in this 1st half. And the midshipmen up by 10. How did they do that? All right, Ballard pounds it up the middle as Navy now in the last 3 minutes and 4 seconds of this 1st half trying to build their lead even more. Bill, we were just talking about where we're away. This reminds a lot of the Army-Navy game that was played. Navy scored just before the end of the 1st half, and it was huge, and now Colorado State cannot allow that.
Colorado State will be on the ropes if they let Navy go down the field and get this score. They needed to do something on offense in the previous series.
1st down now at the 26-yard line. Campbell on the pitch, cuts it against the grain. He's across the 35 to the 39-yard line. Another 1st down. Travis Garcia caught up with him, a 13-yard pickup on the play. There's Garcia, one of Sonny Lubbock's all-time favorite players. He is the epitome of a walk-on, a guy out of Longmont, Colorado, who was a scout team running back for a couple of years, and this year ended up being the leading tackler.
Yeah, he's the epitome of a very good walk-on. He's the epitome of a guy that earns a scholarship.
So now Navy in a hurry up. They get it this time, and there goes a big fullback, Ballard. Boy, it lumbers forward, the sophomore out of Louisville, Texas. 19-yard run, and he had a 67-yard run for a touchdown against Army.
Well, he very narrowly just had another one where he could have run out the back of the stadium because Jesse Nading got a hold of a foot. I mean, this is more agility than I've seen from Ballard at any point, including his great performance against Army.
So Ballard picks up the first down at the 41. Boy, Navy really in a hurry right now, and they are grinding out the yardage as they're able to move this ball now to the 37-yard line, and that was Ballard again.
Big Adam Ballard, last 2 games, 47 rushes, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, 192 yards against Army, and it looks like he's getting ready to rip off another 192.
Had 167 against Temple. He's really had a 2-game season because Matt Hall, their starting fullback, tore up a knee against Notre Dame. Here's an option and keep this time by Owens, and Owens inside the 30, tripped up by Kochevar. They move the sticks again, and as we said earlier, Colorado State cannot allow this Navy team to get in the end zone now. The minute 50 to go in the first half.
Gary, each play we're seeing shoelace tackles. We're not seeing authoritative tackling at the line of scrimmage the way we were earlier.
You can see the time of possession definitely in the favor of Colorado State, but not the scoreboard. Here's a quarterback draw, and Owen bounces forward, and he's got, it looks like, another first down, or very close to it, inside the 20. Eric Sandy, the sophomore out of Concord, California, there to make the stop for Colorado State. We have a Navy player shaken up inside the 20. There is Sandy. De La Salle High School. He never lost a football game when he was playing in high school. Joe Person, who was an offensive tackle, is a guy shaken up, a junior out of Havertown, Pennsylvania. So that'll stop everything momentarily. As Colorado State on the ropes right now, Bill, they've got to somehow keep them out of the end zone.
They've had a couple of OG plays. You heard me saying OG, because that big horse, Adam Ballard, getting loose and ripping and just being dragged down by his heel. And then the same thing happened with Lamar Owens, both of them very nearly popping it. And it's as if the white shirts that were dominating just a few series ago are now being knocked back on their heels. Joe Person limping off now. Looks like he's going to be okay. But this is exactly what Paul Johnson and the Navy team wants. They want to get you where you're just reeling, and then they rip it in the end zone and leave you at the half looking up at a big deficit.
I tell you, it's almost like they saved Ballard for the last of this half. I mean, they had not used him much, the big fullback. They were running the option to their slot backs, and all of a sudden Ballard now is really punishing this Colorado State team. Second down now, a yard to go after a 9-yard pickup a moment ago. Owens pulls it out from the fullback, pitches it this time, and running to the near side is going to be Marco Nelson. And Nelson able to get inside the 10 to the 8, an 11-yard pickup. First and goal now for Navy.
Marco Nelson's going to go in the end zone with this if Reggie Campbell makes his block. Campbell's out front here and throws just a little bit too low. So watch who makes the play. Travis Garcia is able to stay on his feet and make the tackle. Otherwise, this goes in the end zone as well. A very rare miss by Reggie Campbell.
And so we're going to have a timeout called as Colorado State regrouping. All of a sudden, Navy now is just dealing all kinds of havoc as far as Colorado State is concerned. Owens with that first snap of the game for Navy. 55 yards to Reggie Campbell. And Owens this time to Nelson.
Trap option, fake up the middle, freezes the linebackers. Nelson in the end zone.
And Campbell the other way. Both of those runs were 22 yards for touchdowns. And now they brought out the big man, the fullback Ballard, and he is pounding him. And Paul Johnson right now sensing they could really put this Colorado State team in a lot of hurt as they're already up 20-10.
Gary, you say that they're bringing out Ballard, and of course you're correct in that. But what's happened is that the defensive structure has been changed because they're getting ripped on the corner so badly. They've started deploying their defense differently so that when the quarterback Owens comes down the line of scrimmage with the ball in the fullback's stomach, he's now his ride and decide. He decides to leave it with the fullback because the tackle is not closing. So the fullback's got a place to run, and once you let this guy get started, you got a problem.
And Navy playing with a great deal of confidence, great rhythm early in the game. Bill mentioned it looked like the layoff might have hurt their timing, but it is back now. There's nothing wrong with the Navy offensive machine right now. It's going to be 1st and goal. They'll mark the ball just inside the 8-yard line. 3 wideouts on this play. Tomlinson to the near side. Spin option. Owens driving, diving. The ball came out, and it's going to be down by contact at about the half-yard line. He tried to reach in and plant the ball into the end zone. It came out, but he was down.
Well, I have never liked that, extending the football. Too many times it comes out. The official's correct. He makes a good call, but not a good decision by Owens to hold that ball out and put it on the ground like that. If the decision had gone the other way, if it had come out of his hand, if the official had made a mistake, they turned the ball over.
Boy, you can see how competitive this guy is, the quarterback, Lamar Owens. Owens this time is going to get gobbled up. He was hit and dropped. He lost some yardage on that play. The clock now down to 33 seconds as Owens that time couldn't get it turned up the field, and timeout now by Navy. That was Terrence Carter, senior out of Topeka, Kansas, who made the stop on the play.
I'm very surprised to see that the Navy offensive line, Zach Gallion, Rossi, Pritchett on the left side, would allow that penetration down this close to the goal line.
Today's Pontiac game-changing performance. And tune in to the Rose Bowl to find out the game-changing performance of the year. Vote now at ESPN.com. Search .Pontiac. And so we've had a couple of game changers here tonight, haven't we? That 55-yard strike to Campbell, a couple of 22-yard runs. Sonny Lubick, you can see he looks very, very concerned, as he should be. He's got to figure out a way to keep them out of the end zone. As you can see, Navy has 1 timeout left, 31 seconds left in the half.
This is very reminiscent of the way the Army game went. Army came out, played very well against Navy, seemed to be in control of the game, and were actually ahead for a while. Navy chips away, they get a score here, they get a score there, and before you know it, they get you stopped a couple of times. Now they've come off their own 10-yard line, and they're down here within the 2-yard line, or at the 2-yard line, ready to score again before the half, and this could be a deadly score.
This current drive now has consumed 87 yards, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. This is the 12th play of the drive. And again, Navy with 1 timeout left. They have it 3rd and goal at the 2. They come out with Tomlinson split to the near side.
Watch for something with Owens with the ball in his hand.
Campbell will go in motion. Quick pitch to Campbell. He's got the corner. He's in, standing up, and Navy scores.
See there? I told you.
You've been nailing this tonight, Coach. You've had it.
But I get drilled that time. I was just flat wrong. A little toss sweep with a nice lead block by Nelson in the end zone. Reggie Campbell right by Miles Kochevar, who's the best tackler on the football team.
Boy, this Navy team, after falling behind early, now has really started to get it all together. Point after attempt by Bullen. Out of the hold of Brian Hampton. And the kick is going to be right down the middle. 27-10.
When we talk about ride and decide, here's what the option has done tonight. Quarterback hands to the fullback 4 times for 35 yards. The quarterback keeping on that play, 23 yards gain with 8 carries. The pitch to the slot back has been the big producer, 9.3 yards per pitch. When he drops to throw the football, which is really the 4th option, 29 yards, no touchdowns, but yet the 29-yard completion. So the basic staple of the Paul Johnson offense, the triple option, has been highly productive, and it also sets up everything else they do. Such an orderly, well-constructed, and well-conceived offense.
On the other hand, Colorado State, we knew coming in here, had a tough time stopping the run. They were giving up over 200 yards a game, which was 104th in the nation. Vulnerable on defense. And right now, Sonny Lubick's team down 27-10 with 28 seconds left in the half. They started the game so well. I mean, they came out in that opening series, moved it 77 yards, got it into the end zone, and then it was tied up at 7. Then Smith hit a 34-yard field goal to give them the lead again, and it's been all Navy since. Kickoff now is going to be hauled in by Herbert. Herbert is going to be dropped at the 27-yard line. All right, Rhino, take it away down there on the sideline.
So much momentum, Gary and Bill, down here on the Navy sideline, led by their small players. We talked about Marco Nelson and Reggie Campbell. Now, they're listed, Gary, at 5'6" and 5'7". I'm here to tell you they're more like 5'5". They've taken some huge hits tonight on this triple option offense. They continue to get up. That brings the momentum. Paul Johnson said, I don't care about how big they are. I care about how fast they are. And they are right now a much faster team than CSU, Gary.
Yeah, and Sonny Lubick had said that all leading up to this bowl, he was concerned about the speed of Navy, and it's been self-evident here tonight. Small, fast guys, if you will. Holland now dumps it off. He completes it to Bell. Bell will get out of bounds, stop the clock as he gets to the 32. David Mahoney over there to make the stop. So Colorado State will have to regroup. They find themselves down 27-10 in this game. It's been the kind of year where Colorado State was playing very well in the middle of the season. They won 3 games in a row, and Sonny Lubick was talking about if we could play as well as we did then, we will be in good shape. Well, they started out well, and then all of a sudden, somebody aroused this Navy team, and they have been on a roll ever since. 19 seconds left in the half. Dustin Osborne comes in motion. Holland is back to throw. He double pumps, and he's going to be sacked. He goes down inside the 30. That's Tidwell again. We have called Tyler Tidwell's name seemingly all night long. And there's another example of his play.
Just no place to throw the football. Dropping 8, rushing with 3. Obviously a coverage sack. Everybody in America can see that. And it's better to take that sack than to throw it down there and get it picked and let Navy come back and get another one.
So with 10 seconds left, we're going to have a timeout called here as Colorado State has 1 remaining. Justin Holland, a guy we said at the start of the broadcast, when he's on, the team plays well. When he struggles, the team really struggles. He's had some remarkable games. He had a 419-yard passing performance against Wyoming earlier this year, had 4 touchdowns. But I think a telling mark on him, Bill, as a starter career-wise, he is 8-10. I mean, it's been good and bad with this guy who came out of Lakewood, Colorado, the highly recruited, maybe the most publicized recruit under Sonny Lubick since he's been at Colorado State.
Yeah, and he's got all the throws. He's got this marvelous arm. He's a wonderful young man. He's got presence about him, and yet there are times when the bullets start flying that he doesn't always throw it to the right place. Tries to force it in there, probably because he believes in his arm so strongly.
Believes too much, maybe. 10 seconds left now. They have 5 wideouts on a 3rd down and 9. Holland looking up the middle, and it's caught. It's Walker. Johnny Walker's got it. He'll be dropped at the 45. There's 3 seconds left. They stop the clock to move the sticks. 27-yard pickup on the play.
Yeah, they've got it in a place now where they can go a Hail Mary, a Big Ben, or whatever you call it, and take a shot in the end zone from the middle of the field.
Here's the final timeout now by Colorado State. That shows you the arm again of Holland.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got all the stuff, and given that much time to throw, he's going to find somebody usually.
Johnny Walker is a talent. He had 4 100-yard games this year. Had 41 catches on the year. He's just a sophomore out of Lancaster, California. They feel that with Anderson graduating, he will be their go-to guy. He has really come on, and he is a tremendous athlete. So Walker with the catch there, and as Bill mentioned, it gives him a last gasp here with 3 seconds left in the first half.
Well, the conventional wisdom is you really need to be around midfield to have a good chance to score on a play like this. So you throw it up in the end zone, put 3 of your big guys. I'm sure we'll see Sperry out there and Walker, and just throw it up.
Dean Hammersmith, the offensive coordinator. A remarkable thing happened yesterday at the luncheon. Dean Hammersmith's wife, Karen, has been battling breast cancer, and they gave her an award, the team did yesterday, and there was not a dry eye in the stands. Dan Hammersmith. 7 guys back as far as they can get for Navy, standing all the way back at the 25. Holland stepping up, last play of the first half, throws it up for grabs. Sperry comes back, he makes the catch, but time has run out as Sperry's going to be tackled at the 11-yard line. That's a 33-yard gain. You got to like the fact that Colorado State made every second count, trying somehow to make something happen.
Except that Sperry was not in the end zone, and Justin didn't throw it far enough. You got to get in the end zone so that if you do get lucky and make that catch, it's a touchdown and not halftime.
27-10. Let's go to Dave Ryan. He's with Paul Johnson.
Coach, how would you best describe the importance of that late touchdown for Navy in the first half here?
Well, I think it's huge. Both teams are moving the ball pretty well, but anytime you can take the ball 90 yards, it's tough on the other team. And to get up 17 at halftime, we're going to have to score some more. I know that.
215 rushing yards, Paul, in the first half. What makes the triple option tick?
Well, our guys are executing pretty good, and we're getting some guys cut out there in the secondary, so we have a chance for big plays.
Thanks for your time.
All right, Rhino, Paul Johnson's team came roaring back after trailing early. They lead at halftime, 27-10 over Colorado State. Now let's join Chris Fowler for the halftime report.
Gary, thank you. Joined by Robert Smith and Mark May. Total yards about even for both teams, about 300 yards apiece, but it's Navy getting in the end zone and leading 27-10. And you heard Sonny Lubick talk about the concern he had facing Navy's speed. Now, when you face a service academy and you're really worried about a speed deficit, I don't want to say you got some thick ankles on that defense, but you got some thick ankles on that defense.
They definitely do. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the way that Navy's executing. They're excited out there. Paul Johnson is a great coach. They're executing perfectly on offense. But the thing that gets me is you watch the offensive line break the huddle. They sprint to the line. The quarterbacks and wide receiver, they break out of the huddle. They're excited to be there. The enthusiasm on both sides of the ball. You see defensive players. It's not one guy in a tackle. You see 4 or 5 guys running to the football. That's just a well-coached football team. They're excited to be there playing in this bowl.
And then I'll tell you on the other side of it, Colorado State, I mean, it's demoralizing for a team like that. When they're running on you constantly, it's wearing you down. Your offense can't produce anything. It's tough for you to keep going back out there. And on that sideline, I'm sure it can be a little bit tough on you to try and stay together.
That's one thing that I got out of there when Paul Johnson said our wide receivers are cutting the defensive back downfield. That's demoralizing. When you're being cut down the field to play, that really is demoralizing. Going to the locker room in the second half being down like this, Sonny Lubick really has to get his players up mentally in the second half.
Well, they got to dig deep and get a stop because Navy's going to get the ball to start the third quarter. If you don't get them off the field quickly, you find yourself in even a bigger deficit.
You're watching ESPN2 College Football, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl between Colorado State and Navy. We're at halftime, and due to time constraints, we must move ahead in our coverage. Second half action between Colorado State and Navy will continue right after this. Welcome to the inaugural Poinsettia Bowl here in San Diego. The fireworks at halftime, and we had some fireworks in the first half by the midshipmen of Navy. Bill, it's quite remarkable how resourceful Navy was in that first half. They scored 27 points in less than 11 minutes in time of possession.
Less than 11 minutes, 9.5 yards per carry, and we'll see on the highlights exactly how that happened. Beautiful job of execution once they got on track. This is the first play from scrimmage. Lamar Owens to Reggie Campbell on the play-action pass for the touchdown. And then off the trap option in the other direction is Marco Nelson down the sideline with excellent blocking downfield. And with the cut block, you see Miles Kochevar, Reggie Campbell knocking him down for that touchdown.
Well, this was the first touchdown of the game where Bell was able to get in, but the thing that's got to happen if Colorado State's going to win this football game, Justin Holland has got to get back to what he was doing earlier. He did connect there with Johnny Walker late in the first half, but they just ran out of time. But there's what I was talking about, only less than 11 minutes in time of possession, and look how many yards they have rushing. I mean, this is a Navy team that fell behind early in the ball game, and then, as you said so many times, Coach, it took them a while to overcome that layoff and to get everything rolling again.
Well, it's such a precision offense, meaning there are so many moving parts. It's so hard to put the ball in the fullback's stomach, make good decisions, and to do it with such rapidity. But once they get it untracked, it's almost impossible to stop if the play action is also working, and that's what they've been able to do.
All right, let's go down and rejoin Dave Ryan on the sideline. Rhino?
All right, Gary, thanks. We spoke with Sonny Lubick, the head coach of Colorado State, a few moments ago, heading back onto the field. He's confident his team can come back in the second half despite being down by 17 points. As Bill and you mentioned a moment ago, offensively, what they have to do is try to get more TOP. Time of possession wasn't nearly good enough in that first half, except for the first 2 drives. On defense, he said his defense was really confused at halftime in the locker room about assignment football on the triple option. A couple of guys said, hey, I thought I had the fullback on that. I thought you had the quarterback on that. They're trying to get things together. They thought they shut down the fullback Ballard pretty well, but not the rest of that offense in the first half.
All right, Rhino, and of course, Colorado State needs to stop Navy here at the start of the second half. They're going to get the ball first. Kevin Mark is going to kick it off. It's going to be Reggie Campbell inside the 5, up to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, 25, and he runs it all the way out across the 35-yard line. 31-yard return gives the midshipmen excellent field position to start this drive. You can see against Army, touchdowns on 6 straight possessions. Tonight, touchdowns on 4 or 5 possessions. I would say, Bill, that's pretty efficient.
Gary, 0 punts by the Naval Academy so far in this football game. And you said it best just at the kickoff. Colorado State better get them stopped right here.
Tell you what, this game really turned when they ruled that fumble by Owens was not in fact a fumble. He was down on his knee, and after that it was 10-7 in favor of Colorado State. It's been all Navy since. There's a handoff now to Ballard, the fullback. He takes it to the 40-yard line. Let's take a look now, Bill, and document what they have done with their weapons in the triple option.
Owens 13 attempts, 42 yards rushing. Of course, that doesn't account for his passing. Ballard 4 for 38, Nelson 4 for 47, Campbell 8 for 77. Not too shabby. Overall, 9.5 yards per play for the whole first half.
They've really been able to distribute the ball to everybody. They have everyone involved in this offense right now. Here's a quick pitch coming to the near side, and spinning his way is going to be Nelson. Nelson getting across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Knocked down there. Nelson had a 22-yard touchdown run in the first half. Herbert has been a highlight in this game for Colorado State. Remember those 2 hits he had? He's just really pounded a couple of ball carriers.
He's a big guy. I noticed him in warmups. They got him down at 6'1". He looks like a linebacker. He's probably 6'2", 200 pounds, and he's whipping those wide receivers, and he's up there making hits. Did a great job returning a kick. He's having a good football game.
3rd down now, and a long 2 to go for the midshipmen. Colorado State would like to get a stop. Here's Campbell. Quick pitch to Reggie Campbell. Trying to get the corner. He's got it. He's got the first down and then some. Knocked out of bounds. He needed to get to the 45, and he got to the 47. Brandon Cathy, the cornerback, coming up to make the stop, number 1 for Colorado State. But Navy has another first down.
These little guys, the A-backs that are not such little guys, we've talked about them. Marco Nelson that time blocking on Brandon Cathy. Got just enough of him, didn't get him on the ground, but got enough of him for the first down, and it becomes so frustrating trying to stop an offense like this.
So Navy now at their own 47-yard line, just underway in the second half. Here is Owens now keeping. He's belted hard. Big hit as he gets across the midfield stripe to the 48-yard line. That's Herbert again. Herbert has put on a tackling clinic in this game tonight.
He has, and he's not like a corner. Those corners, you're real happy if you got a corner that will drag somebody down. Robert comes up and hits him right between the 2 and the 2, right there. That's number 6 making the hit. Coach Avar's there, but the first contact was made by Herbert.
Gain on the play of 5, 2nd and 5. Here's Owens trying to find some running room. Goes down. He'll lose a yard. Back to the 49. Nading. There he is, Jesse Nading, the sophomore out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Their best defensive lineman, led him in sacks. He was the guy earlier, you might recall, blocked the point after attempt. They really like he, along with Smith and Sandy. All 3 of them are sophomores in that defensive line.
Here we are again, 3rd and 6. Can you get the stop? Can you get off the field?
That's a 49.
3rd down and 6 yards to go. And that's what Sonny Lubick talked about yesterday. Can we get our defense off the field? And here would be a good opportunity for him to do that. Here's Owens giving up, and running straight ahead is going to be Ballard, the big fullback. And let's see where they mark it. It's going to be very close. It's going to be, it looks like, 4th down.
How many offenses do you know on 3rd and 6 that will hand it to the fullback? That's why coaches hate to play against the wishbone. They hate to come up on 3rd and 6 and think maybe Ballard's going to have the football. Run it up there now. It's 4th and about 1, and they're going to go for it again. And you know that those Navy guys up front and those fullbacks believe they're going to make this 4th down conversion.
Look at this, 12th in the NCAA on 4th down, 65% conversion. 4th down here, handoff, and Ballard gets it. And some despair. Travis Garcia eventually made the tackle. The Navy on 4th down just really hammered that one forward.
Now think about this. Think about this. The fullback gets the ball on 4th and 1. Who makes the tackle? The safety. The strong safety has to make the tackle because the guys up front just got whipped, got knocked off the ball, and that's what's happening to this Colorado State defense. They were only on the field for 10 minutes of the first half, but they gave up 9.5 yards per play.
Garcia, we mentioned, is the leading tackler this year for Colorado State. Owens back to throw in a play action, throws up the field, complete to Tomlinson, makes the spin move to the 20. So Navy has picked up where they left off. They have this offense really on fire. That's an 18-yard pickup to the 20-yard line. Tomlinson, one of the few guys they throw to. He had 24 catches at the start of the night.
Well, Robert Herbert's had his way with Tomlinson, whipping him in the running game tonight and making big plays. But a beautiful throw and great poise by Lamar Owens here to get the ball out to Tomlinson, who rips away from Herbert and returns the favor.
Jamal Hall eventually made the tackle. Quick pitch to Campbell. Campbell trying to get wide. Look at the quickness. 10-5. Touchdown, Campbell. And Navy takes the drive and takes it in. 21 yards for the touchdown. So the midshipmen take the initial series and they just literally run over this Colorado State team. 3 rushes and 1 receiving touchdown by Campbell. I mean, this guy has been spectacular. Campbell having a monster night for the midshipmen. Point after attempt is on the way, and Navy now has built their lead to 34-10.
And when we talked to Steve Stannard, the defensive coordinator for Colorado State, we said we got to get the fullback stopped. So they concentrate on the fullback, and what happens? The A-back rips them all night long. Here's another view. Look at the speed, the precision of the wishbone offense.
Well, I would think Mr. Campbell's making a strong bid to be the MVP of this game. Look at this. 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 receiving. 9 plays, 65 yards, took 3 minutes and 39 seconds.
And numerous decleaters as a blocker. This guy is a complete player.
So Campbell, the sophomore who started this game out with a 55-yard touchdown catch after his team had fallen behind 7-0. And Colorado State is reeling. They got to get something going right now offensively. Bulletin will kick off now for Navy. 11:21 left to go in this third quarter. That last drive was precision. Bulletin hits it really well. And it'll be Hill bringing it out for the Rams up to the 15. Skips his way to about the 19 and a slam down there. Today's Bowl Cup Challenge is brought to you by Cooper Tires. And as you know, we watch the conferences to see who is doing the best as far as a bowl record. Mountain West Conference won it last year percentage-wise, 2-1. Conference USA 3-2. Pac-10, Big 12. And this year, Conference USA is 1-0 in the early going. And right now, Navy and Independent is leading this ball game.
Did the Independents get a spot
That's
in
what
this
I'm
thing?
wondering about. Here's a handoff now to Bell. And Colorado State now just needs to put some pieces together. They need to get something successfully underway. Try to regroup, find a way to come through what has been a stunning development here. After leading early in this game 7-0, 10-7, and all of a sudden Navy took over in the second quarter, and they started this third quarter like they owned this game.
Yeah, this stunning development is a whooping that's going on. And they've got to get going. They've got to throw that football is what they got to do. And they got to make completions, first downs, and score.
Second down coming up. Handoff to Bell again. Bell's got the first down. Here comes Kyle Bell. Pounds across the 35 to the 37-yard line. 13-yard pickup. Well, Colorado State, you look as we have a flag on the play. Their weapons. Holland thus far with 191 yards passing. Bell approaching 100 yards in the game. A lot of this happening early. David Anderson has had to work awfully hard to get those 48 yards on 5 catches.
Number 4 on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
That's Keenan Little, the cornerback for Navy, guilty of that infraction. So that gives now Colorado State a little hope as they have the ball out at the 43-yard line and first down.
But when I say they got to throw the ball, I don't mean they abandon the run. And that's really nice blocking and a good job up front and a good job by Bell running the football. But they will have to get deep here to get back in this game.
Sperry, who started this game out so effectively, comes in motion, comes set now for the Rams. Give to Bell. Bell is going to get across the 45 and He'll be knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. That's Rob Caldwell with yet another tackle. We have him with 10 tackles in the game, the leading tackler at the start of the night. Guy who had 21 tackles this year against Air Force. That was the 4th highest for anybody in the Naval Academy history.
Yeah, and when you sit and visit with him, you kind of get a sense that he says, you said, what kind of guy are you? He said, I'm intense. Well, he reminds me of every great linebacker I've ever known. All those guys are intense and tough.
He said he plays mad. He was a big Notre Dame fan growing up in Indiana. Here's a handoff to Bell again. This time he's going nowhere. He tried to change direction. That was Caldwell, the man we were just talking about, who made the tackle. And let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Yeah, Gary walked out of the Colorado State locker room at halftime. You could hear a pin drop on the runway out in the field. That's really unusual. Usually just before a half starts, the team is pumped up. A lot of emotion. There was none of that. Only 1 or 2 players had something to say. After the Reggie Campbell touchdown for Navy to begin the second half, the heads really started hanging on the Ram bench. The only one on the sideline, Kyle Bell, with any emotion whatsoever to begin this drive.
Could see the record of Sonny Lubick. Last year they missed the bowl game, and they were so pleased to get back in. And now tonight really fighting for survival. There's a pass to David Anderson. He caught it. It looks far enough up the field to pick up the first down as Caldwell was there to make the tackle.
That's what they got to do. They got to make those throws. That's a nice dig route, good protection. And Justin Holland standing in there delivering the football. And who does David Anderson meet in the middle of the field? One of our favorite players, Caldwell, maybe not the favorite of Mr. Anderson. And that's where those linebackers can afford to take deep drops. They can't ignore the running game, but they do not have to focus on it as much as normally.
Caldwell's telling us he grew up 45 miles away from South Bend, so he's a Notre Dame fan. Did not get offered a scholarship by him. Here now is Holland rolling out, buying time, throwing up the field. Anderson makes the catch. Beautifully executed that time. Can tell those guys have hooked up before on that play. That's a 19-yard pickup, and all of a sudden now the Rams started to put some pieces together offensively.
Good football. David Anderson working on Greg Thresher with the play-action fake and the naked bootleg. He turns his man, turns his shoulders on the sideline. Now watch the throw. Look at the shoulders come square. Perfect delivery by Justin Holland, showing the arm strength and the accuracy of which he is capable all the time.
Boy, David Anderson is such a good football player. Here is Bartz, the tight end, coming in motion. Handoff to Bell running that way, change of direction, and he's able to get inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. It'll bring up a second down. One of the things Colorado State is doing now is they're giving their defense some breathers on the sideline, starting to establish a little continuity and get something going in a positive nature.
Bell really missed a big hole here. He stops and tries to cut back, which is his normal nature, but there was a big gash outside. Bartz had a really nice block. I think he could have gotten on the sideline and maybe down the sideline. What they need desperately is a touchdown here.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7, end around, handoff comes to Walker. Check that. Damon Morton, and Morton to the 10, and Morton stays on his feet, and he's going to be tackled at the 7-yard line. Mahoney on the tackle, as that's a 17-yard pickup. Damon Morton, who does not play very much, he's their fastest wide receiver out of Riverside, California, and he executed well there. 1st and goal.
And ironically, David Mahoney, number 40, does a great job. He does exactly what he's supposed to. He turns that back inside, but there's nobody in pursuit. The pursuit should be coming inside out and should nail Morton. Jake Biles misses the tackle. Excellent job of running by Morton, getting it down inside the 10.
Look at this. 8 plays, 74 yards. 1st and goal now at the 7-yard line. The late handoff to Bell. Bell stiff arms a man, but he's going to be jammed up and thrown back. Biles is one of those. Jeremy Chase is there, the co-captain out of Norfolk, Virginia. The guy who, sitting with him at the banquet yesterday, very quiet, doesn't say a lot, but as Lamar Owen said, he just plays.
Yeah, well, those mean guys, they don't say much. They just go out there and play. And Chase is another one of those guys like Caldwell that just got great intensity. He's been the bell cow. He's been the captain of this defense. And if you ask the coaches who gets them going out there in the huddle, it's Jeremy Chase.
Blue-collar guys, what they say. He just plays hard, works hard, and made a good play there. Lost back to the 10. That'll be 2nd and goal. Holland. Play action. Throwing to the end zone. The back, caught. Touchdown. touchdown, Dustin Osborne. Dustin Osborne, the junior out of La Junta, Colorado. That's a 10-yard touchdown strike.
What excellent concentration by Osborne there. And, of course, Justin Holland makes a nice throw to play action. The blocking excellent. Just a nice little toss back here, and it looked like it was into dangerous territory, but Kean Little was clearly beat on the pattern. Nice throw and catch. Very, very important drive.
So Osborne with his 4th touchdown catch of the year. Smith the point after, and it's 34-17.
Justin Holland not only has a powerful arm, he has beautiful touch. Perfect accuracy.
And Osborne makes the catch. Holland celebrates, and Colorado State trying to come back.
ESPN2 College Football. The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl is brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union, proud sponsor of the Make-A-Wish Foundation of San Diego, and in part by Coca-Cola. Make it real.
Colorado State trying to come back in this game. As you see here, that was a 21st touchdown pass of the season. That is a Colorado State single season record. You see his numbers, 20 of 27, 228. That touchdown a moment ago, 10 yards to Dustin Osborne. Colorado State could get a turnover or get a stop. All of a sudden, this game could start to turn a little bit. And here's Reggie Campbell hauling this one in. He'll come up to the 20, and boy, is this guy fast. To the 28-yard line, a 23-yard kickoff return. Welcome to the inaugural of the Poinsettia Bowl from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego with Bill Curry and Dave Ryan. I'm Gary Bender. This game started out with Colorado State jumping on top 7-0, led 10-7, and then Navy started to roll, and they dominated the second quarter. Had the opening drive to score in the third quarter, and you can see they've rushed for 264 yards, 4 touchdowns. Reggie Campbell has 4 touchdowns himself, 3 rushing and 1 by receiving. From the 28-yard line now, Navy starts again. They give to Ballard, the fullback, Adam Ballard, who had those 2 big back-to-back games against Temple and Army. Nadine made the tackle for Colorado State.
Here's the thing to remember, Gary, about this Colorado State defense. They are capable of stopping Navy's running game. They've been ripped in the entire second and third quarter, but the first quarter they were able to really stone the running game. They need to go back to that and make Navy throw the football.
2nd down and 4, and they're working that big fullback now as Ballard straight ahead. Ballard, who wants to be in the Marines when he finishes his time at the academy out of Louisville, Texas. He was a guy who said he wasn't recruited all that heavily because his senior year they moved him from running back to a receiver position, and he said a lot of people lost interest in him, but not Paul Johnson. He saw something special in the sophomore.
Well, I'll guarantee you if I'd been coaching, he'd have been recruited hard, because this guy has got it.
Boy, he looks like a guy that you don't want to mess with. I mean, he's got some toughness. Here is Owens back to throw, double pumping, throwing up the field. No one's there. Tomlinson had made his move, but Herbert was with him all the way. Well, Christmas Eve at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, ESPN's full road trip travels to Hawaii for the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. As the Nevada Wolfpack that want to share the WAC title takes on this season's college football feel-good story. Central Florida, the Golden Knights, who did not win a game last year, and George O'Leary has really had an outstanding turnaround season. Oh, and 11-8-4. Not bad, huh? Here now is Owens on the pitch back to Campbell. Campbell shut down this time. Good defensive effort that time, especially by Brandon Cathy. Came up and grounded him.
Here's what we're seeing. The corners are taking a different path, whereas in the first half they were in 3-deep coverage. They were not up forcing. The safeties were responsible to force. We're seeing now that the corners are going to force this option more often. We saw it on the other side with Herbert from time to time. Now we're seeing it from the Cathy side. Brandon Cathy with an excellent tackle coming outside in on the pitch back.
Here's a stopping point for Colorado State. 3rd and 7. Owens trying to go wide. Pitches to Campbell. Campbell's not going to get the first down. So all of a sudden now, Colorado State has some hope as Cathy comes up. They scored the last time they had the ball. They've got Navy now on a 4th down and almost 2 yards to go.
Navy,
they may go for this.
Now Navy needs to punt the ball here and play field position, because what they don't want to do is give Colorado State the football out here in the middle of the field.
Well, they're not going to punt it.
Paul Johnson does not agree. They're going to go for it. I do not think it's a good decision, but they've been ripping and snorting so much, maybe they just believe they can make this too.
Well, they've done it 65% of the time this year. They've been successful on 4th down. 4th down and 2.
They're just trying to draw them
Yeah,
off
they
sides.
really are. Now they will use the timeout.
They tried to move both backs to get them to jump, and it didn't work.
So Colorado State has some new hope. We'll come back. 34-17 Navy.
I didn't want to get emotional here, but 18 seniors that we're really going to miss. They came on board 4 years ago and really helped to turn our football program around. And for those young men, thank you. It's been an honor to coach you, and we look forward to Thursday night.
Very emotional. Paul Johnson talking about his seniors on the team. There are 18 of them. Look what they've done. 4-0 against Army, 3-1 against Air Force, 3rd straight bowl appearance. I mean, these guys will go out with their heads held high. We come back now, and Navy is going to go for it, Bill, after this. 4th down and 2. Navy's elected to go for it. Owens is going to be tackled, and Colorado State has stopped him. On 4th and 2, Owens did not have a chance to execute. Blake Smith was there first, and Blake Smith is another one of those sophomore defensive linemen.
The best way to let Colorado State back in this football game is to try to go for it at midfield, let them make a play, which is exactly what Blake Smith did. What a marvelous job Blake Smith has done all night. He's made plays in the backfield. This young man out of a terrific high school program in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I would put it up right now and see if I couldn't get a big one to one of my great wide receivers.
So Colorado State takes over. They have it to the 44 of Navy. Holland over the middle. You called it. Here's Dave Anderson. And Dave Anderson's got a 1st down catch at the 21. A gain of 24. Keenan Little on the tackle. And all of a sudden, Bill, you see just a little switch in this game. The Rams are starting to believe.
It's not a little switch. It's a big switch. And I'll bet that body language down there with Dave Ryan has changed enormously on the Colorado State sideline. You come back and you throw the football again and you get it in the end zone, and you are right in this football game if you're a Colorado State Ram.
Bill, Tyler Tidwell, who's played so well for Navy's come out of the ball game. He's been shaken up. There's a handoff to Bell. Bell trying to move the pile as he gets inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Caldwell over to make the stop for the midshipman. So Colorado State trailing 34-17. 4:23 left to go here in the 3rd.
Now Kyle Bell needs to get back to the way he was running the first half. He's dancing in the hole here. He's running up in there and stopping and being uncertain. That's not his strong suit. Kyle, you got a little crease, man. You take it. You rip through tacklers. That's your job. That's your deal. You don't want to make 2 yards on 1st down.
2nd down coming up. As you mentioned, he made 2. 2nd and 8. Sperry will go in motion. They're going to pitch to Bell again. Bell makes the cut, makes the first man miss, but then he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Same deal. Same deal. He's out there. He's got a crease. He starts dancing, and he's caught by the pursuit.
David Mahoney over there. Jeremy Chase also assisting on the tackle, so they have a 3rd down and 10.
Watch Kyle Bell. This is not the same guy we saw the first half. Okay, he's got a little crease inside. You rip up in there and you get what you can get. You dance in the hole and you end up losing 2 yards. Now they got 3rd and 10.
3rd down 10 as Colorado State trying somehow to climb out of a big hole here with 3:15 to go in the 3rd. Double pump by Holland into the end zone. Going up. The catch is made, and it's the 2nd touchdown catch for Dustin Osborne tonight. That's a 20-yard grab, and he has been spectacular in the 2nd half.
And what a marvelous job by the veteran quarterback, Justin Holland, doing exactly what he needs to do to get his team right back in this football game. The 2nd touchdown pass, the pump fake, and then right up the field. As he freezes the secondary, Jerry McGowan trying to cover Dustin Osborne. That's a little bit of a mismatch, a strong safety on a wide receiver.
Osborne out of La Junta. That is the home of Mark Driscoll, who's the athletic director at Colorado State. Point after attempt by Smith is good. We have a football game. It's a 10-point game. It's 34-24. As Colorado State here in this third quarter has gone to Dustin Osborne, and he has delivered, coming up with 2 touchdown catches. And Holland's got this team rolling. Well, San Diego's a big Navy town. The San Diego Bay Naval Amphibious Base Coronado, one of the largest naval bases in the country. Interestingly enough, Navy has agreed to play in this Poinsettia Bowl in 08, 09, and 10 if they're bowl eligible. So they got kind of a bonus to return to this beautiful place.
I just, you know, if they just get this thing really rolling, let's say they're 11-0, and they're going to turn down the Rose Bowl or the Fiesta.
Well, they got to be 11-0 all 3 years, though, Bill. 08, 09, and 10.
Yeah, but then they still got to come here.
Here is Kevin Mark kicking off now. Going to be short. Going to be taken by an up back on this play and stepping in front of Campbell. And going to be returned that time for a 16-yarder to the 30-yard line. And let's go down to Dave Ryan.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. Joined by Navy Athletic Director Chet Gladchuk. Third straight year for the first time in Academy history. You're in a bowl game, Chet. What does that success in the field mean to the future of Navy football?
Well, obviously, Paul's done a great job for us. As you know, 4 years ago, he had a very difficult time getting things off the ground first year, but since then, the 3 years in a row, 3 bowl games, the spirit of the brigade, the institution is excited and behind the program. You can see the great turnout tonight. We've got about half the student body with us, so it's rallied the institution in a way that's been very special, and of course, it's rallied the fleet behind the football program.
Gary?
A reverse to Tomlinson, and Tomlinson able to run that across the 50 to the 48 as Paul Johnson now trying to make something happen. 22-yard gain. Let's go back to Rhino.
Chet, speaking of the crowd here, some 25,000 fans for Navy have purchased tickets. Why is it such a hot ticket?
Oh, it's just great because, well, obviously we're in San Diego. We got about 75,000 enlisted here in this area. It's a Navy town. You know, when the ship comes into port, people have a great time. That's exactly what's happening here. We're proud of the fact that we're able to sell those tickets over the course of the last 4 weeks, and again, great turnout, great look. Everybody's excited. You know, as you can see, probably the majority of this crowd here today is all Navy.
Thanks for your time, Chet.
My pleasure.
On the option this time to Ballard. They pitched it to the fullback. Coach Ibarra over there. Now you can see what they have done ticket sale wise all the way back to 3 years ago, the Houston Bowl. Look at that, Bill. The Emerald Bowl last year against New Mexico, and this year, I mean, that's a tremendous compliment to Navy.
And you're not exaggerating. The word tremendous is apt here because it's just huge for those bowls to be able to get people in the stands.
Second down, a gain of 9 on that last play. Here's Navy trying to come back now after having their lead cut to 10, and they get a first down. They're using Ballard now extensively up the middle. A moment ago, they pitched to him, which was a little different wrinkle. Eric Sandy makes a stop for Colorado State. They move the sticks.
Well, what's happened is that Paul Johnson's pulled out some exotics out of his playbook. He had to reverse to Tomlinson, which worked well because Jesse Nading lost contain on the backside, and then they go with a pitch, which is really unusual to the fullback in this offense, and so they're pulling things out of the playbook.
I think they got Navy's attention. This comeback by Colorado State. Here's Owens trying to turn up the field, and he's buried.
That was the triple option. The fullback was tackled. It's exactly what you're supposed to do. Then the quarterback pulled it. He kept the ball, and he's tackled for a very short gain. They have gone back to stoning the run. What does that mean? That means that the play-action pass is there, and we'll see that reasonably soon. You don't have to be very smart to figure that out.
That's Terrence Carter. His dad, Woodrow, played for Colorado State back in the 70s. Terrence Carter been out a couple of games with a knee, but in his senior year, able to come back in this bowl game. Here's Owens back to throw. He's throwing up the middle, wide open. Campbell, that's his 5th touchdown of the night. His 2nd by air. And it's a 34-yard strike, and just like that, Navy has responded.
And that's the dilemma of dealing with a wishbone offense that has a quarterback that can also throw with accuracy. When you begin running down the 3 options on the run, then you're left shorthanded in the secondary. Your free safety's up there to play the option. He's not back there in the deep middle, and that allows the fleet wingback, Reggie Campbell, or the A-back, to be wide open again.
Well, he just has 5 touchdowns, that's all. Point after attempt is on the way, and This Navy team now has put 41 points on the board, and look at Campbell. 2 receiving, 5 touchdowns. He's just a sophomore. As one of the things that's happening to Navy is Paul Johnson has really increased the athleticism and the ability on this football team each year.
Well, I thought it was really significant when we tried to compliment him and say, look, what is it about you, Paul, that has made this Navy program improve so much? He said, you know what? Our players are better than anybody thinks. We run faster. Look at that. He's running by everybody in the secondary because Jamal Hall, a linebacker, is trying to cover him. The free safety is up playing the option, which is his responsibility. Almost impossible to stop everything on this offense if it is executed well. But Paul says the reason we've improved is because we got better players than we used to have.
You know, players make coaches better, don't they?
Yeah. That was good, Gary. You're coming right along.
I know. I'm learning. I'm still been around you so much. I'm sounding like you now. You know, this year, Navy has averaged 32.6 points a game. They have 41, and we still have another quarter to go after this. Kickoff now to the far side. George Hill stays in bounds with it. He's going to come up to the 20, and it'll be dropped right there. So today's Pontiac game-changing performance. Let's look ahead. You'll find out for the season as you tune into the Rose Bowl to find out the game-changing performance of the year. Vote now at ESPN.com. As there are several candidates. I was looking at them earlier this week.
There are lots of really worthy candidates. If anybody can compete with that guy at Southern California, that guy at Bush.
Not bad, huh?
Tough to do. Look, speaking of which, Anderson has 8 catches for 97 yards. He needs to have several more on deep balls, if at all possible, if coverage allows.
Here comes Walker in motion, and they fake the end around, give it to Bell. Bell straight ahead. There's a north-south run you were talking about. Yes, he picks up 9 on the play.
I assure you that the coaches, Coach Sonny Lubick got Bell on the sideline and said, let me tell you something, Kyle, you are not a dancer. You are a slasher. Please start slashing with the football. That's what he did, and they're coming up 2nd and 1.
We approach just a little over a minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. We've had a lot of fireworks by Colorado State. They had cut it to 10, but then all of a sudden Navy said enough is enough, and they went roaring up the field, scoring on a 34-yard strike to Campbell. Movement before the snap of the ball. Looked like Brazil, the 2nd team All-Mountain West Conference offensive tackle, was the guy that moved that time. And so they'll sort this one out.
Before the play began, false start on the offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty. The down remains 2nd.
There he is. He's had a bad back. It's really been bothering him. He's out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. His parents driving up to Fort Collins to see him play, and that is not a short trip, as they were watching their young man do a very good job for Sonny Lubick.
They come to all the games. So that was a critical error because now they got 2nd and 7 instead of that short yardage situation.
So Holland trying to get something going again. Gives a Bell. Bell dragging a tackler, staying on his feet, fighting for his life. Got a couple of yards. It'll be a 3rd down. John Chan was there to make the tackle, the junior defensive end. He's been such a consistent player for this Navy team. He's number 95. He played in that storied program, De La Salle, and they won 3 national high school championships. Talking to the coach, he said when he came to Navy, he just wasn't used to losing.
Never been in a losing game. 38-0 as a high schooler, squats 500 pounds, and that's why he has that great strength to hang on to a guy like Bell.
Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator for Navy. Hartz, Sperry, the 2 tight ends. Dave Anderson has his hands outstretched like there's some confusion. Well, we're not going to go another snap. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. So we have played 3. Navy leading 41-24. Navy with a 41-24 lead, and when Colorado State cut it to 10, you have the sense that Navy all of a sudden decided, hey, we're a pretty good football team. That's enough.
Yeah, good teams answer. When you get busted in the mouth by the opponent, you either stay down and get reeling and let them come back some more, or you answer and you pop them back, and that's exactly what Navy did behind their own Reggie. They got this is not Reggie Bush, but I'll tell you what, Reggie Campbell's 5 touchdowns.
I mean, that is what we're going to hear a lot about is Reggie Campbell, just a sophomore. He's had a remarkable game. Here's Holland being flushed out and sacked. He tried to get up the field, and he could not. And that is Tyler Tidwell, who had come out of the game earlier after being shaken up. That's his second sack of the night. Boy, Tidwell, we have called his name all night long. The junior out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Boy, that'll give him a big loss, and it will bring up 4th down, 16 to go. Tidwell has 11 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 quarterback pressure. Wow. So here is Kaler to punt away, standing to the goal line for this Ram team. All of a sudden now Navy has come roaring back. This is a line drive, very returnable this time, and it's going to be Tomlinson. Tomlinson to the 50, to the 45, and gang tackle there. 44-yard punt, 14-yard return, and a lot of activities through the course of the Poinsettia Bowl. You can see Navy going to SeaWorld. Lamar Owens is even throwing good passes to the Dolphins at SeaWorld. There is Lamar. There he is. And this guy, I tell you, I really enjoyed him, Bill. There's certain guys you just all of a sudden really become a big fan of. I'm a big fan of Lamar Owens.
I was envious. You eat lunch with Lamar, and you got to know him a little bit.
Well, and just to watch him play and how he handles himself, and he is truly the leader of this football team. A lot of times quarterbacks are expected to be, and he's more than that. Here is the guy who's been on fire all night long. Reggie Campbell brings it to the 40-yard line. Kochevar, that's 10 tackles for Kochevar. You look at a guy like Reggie Campbell. He last year didn't play all that much. This is his sophomore year. He's exploded. He had a 54-yard run for a touchdown against Army, and that was a prelude to this night, which has been spectacular.
310 yards tonight so far, all purpose. That includes kick returns and receptions.
And this time, Ballard, the big fullback. Look at that. He just doesn't give up. He fought his way all the way to the 30-yard line.
Loose is loose.
That's an 11-yard pickup. Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Reggie. What a game for Reggie Campbell tonight, guys. He's got 5 touchdowns. You talked about it, 300-plus all-purpose yards. And he is one of the all-time greats in terms of scoring a touchdown in a game. Now, Trent Candetto against Army a couple years ago had 6 touchdowns. 2 other guys also had 6 touchdowns, guys, in a game for Navy all-time. Who were they? Lou Benoist against Colby back in 1919, and Harold Martin against Western Reserve in 1917. Gary and Bill, did you guys see those games?
I knew that was coming. How did I know that was coming? Did you know that was coming, Bill? That's no respect whatsoever.
I'm just ignoring the question. I'm not even going to dignify that question with a response.
Here is Campbell again.
Hey, Rhino, go back and study the body language, would you please?
Oh, I tell you, Rhino was wearing his alma mater's jersey around today. He was saying that, hey, somebody's got to support him, and I liked his underdog role. I won't mention what that is. We don't need to rub that in. But Rhino, you know that was really unfair. Here now is Owens on the option, and he will tuck it under his arm and take it to the 22-yard line. We now have 12.5 minutes left in this game. Navy leading 41-24.
Very significant and not surprising, Gary. Both these teams are strong fourth-quarter teams. Each of them has struggled in some other quarters. Both of them outscored substantially in the second quarter. I'm talking about year-long trends now. But Navy, for instance, has scored 110-79 in the fourth quarter. Colorado State almost identical, 118-76. They have both been strong finishing teams.
Speaking of a strong finisher, how about Owens? He got better as the game wore on against Army, doing it tonight. Here he throws, and the intended receiver is looking back, batted down. Marco Nelson, the intended receiver, at the last moment, a hand on the ball, able to knock it down, and that is Pagnotta.
Yeah,
Mike Pagnotta.
But watch Lamar. What did he do? He took responsibility. This is a really bad throw. I mean, this is a bad throw. If he just lofts this up a little bit, he's got to put a little bit more top on it. Just top throw it. He just kind of got in a hurry. Instead of just taking his time and getting it up and over so his guy can run under it, he threw it so it was really easy to tip.
There you can see what his numbers are, as his total offense is very impressive. Pales a little bit to Reggie Campbell, but he's the guy that's engineered all this. Pitch comes back to Marco Nelson. Nelson's going to go. He's to the 5. Touchdown, Navy. I mean, they just explode on you. 21 yards, 2 Colorado State players down on the play. Wow.
And I'll tell you something, Gary, there's nothing more demoralizing as a football team than to have somebody whip and snort down the field, take it in the end zone, and you look over there and your guys are down. This is the trap option again, which has really been the most effective play tonight because it takes the free safety apparently out of the action. All I can speculate is that Coach Barr and the other safeties, Michael Myers, are being affected by the faking so that they're not getting to the alley because there's nobody there to tackle the pitch back. This is looking so much like the Army game.
Yep. Herbert, the guy who delivered some big hits in this game, now taking himself out. He was down for some time as now the point after attempt coming up. Nelson had a 22-yard touchdown run earlier, and this time he gobbles up that yardage in a hurry as he went that time a total of 21. So he has 21 and 22-yard touchdown runs. You don't think the slot backs have had a big night? There's a line drive through for the point after. And this game now has gone to 48-24 Navy.
It's time for Justin Holland to get back on the field and get it cranked up to answer this. Good football teams must answer Colorado State on the ropes.
Navy has scored 48 points. Their high this year was 49 against Tulane earlier this year. 48-24. They just continue to really amass the yardage. 6 plays, 45 yards, 2 minutes and 21 seconds. 5 rushing touchdowns tonight. Nelson with his second. Campbell with 5 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 2 receiving. And the #1 rushing team in the country has certainly not disappointed here tonight. Cullen kicking off now for the midshipmen. 11:43 left in this game. George Hill will bring it out to the 20, to the 25, and he'll be dropped there. Well, you look at Paul Johnson and what he has done. This is his 4th year at the Naval Academy. You can see what he has done: 3rd, 1st, 3rd, and 1st. And tonight, 361 yards.
And when you're in a situation like the academies, there's nothing like a sophisticated running offense, and especially a triple option offense, because not only does it amass the yards and score points, it keeps your defense off the field, where you're always going to be undersized playing their kind of schedule.
See Paul holding his back there a little bit. He's probably still in some pain as he was working through it all week long after injuring the back, moving the sofa for his wife. Here's now is Holland rolling out. He's going for all of it. He has down here the receiver, and the catch is made. It is made by Damon Morton, who had that reverse earlier, and that is a catch of 51 yards to the 22-yard line.
And that's one of those, if you're Jeremy McGowan, you just scratch your head and you say, what I got to do? It's got his perfect coverage. He's running stride for stride with the fleet wide receiver. Should be a mismatch, but you got him covered. You're feeling pretty good. You're running along with Damon Morton there, and the throw is so beautiful that it's just right between the 8 and the 7. Good concentration by Morton.
Boy, I tell you, Morton can run. He got down there in a hurry. McGowan, who is so tough over there making that tackle. 4 wide outs, trips formation, top of the field. A first down, double pumping is Holland. Holland going in the end zone. He's got him. Walker, touchdown. Colorado State, 22 yards. And they continue to light up the scoreboard here at Qualcomm Stadium.
Now this time the coverage is not as good, and nor should you expect that Greg Thrasher would be able to run with Johnny Walker. He gets trapped inside. When you look in the backfield and you're playing zone coverage, that's a terrible mistake. And he plays the pump fake, and he allows Walker to get behind him. And another great throw, a perfect throw, in fact, by Justin Holland. And this is exactly what we've been talking about all night long. Colorado State's advantage against Navy is their wide receivers and their quarterback against the secondary of Navy. And if they're going to get back in this game, which they are in the process of doing, that's how they have to do it.
Look what he's done in the second half. 7 of 7, 155 yards and 3 touchdowns. He continues to build a record. He now has 23 career touchdown passes. He just adds to his own record. Now Colorado State's going to have to use a timeout. So the 11-18, the Rams are going to talk it over.
Dan Hammersmith furious because he wanted to go for 2 points with the score 48-30 here to get his team back into this football game.
ESPN2 College Football, the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, is brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union, proud sponsor of the Make-A-Wish Foundation of San Diego, and in part by the LeBrons and NikeBasketball.com. And Serenity. The action is now on DVD.
Well, we thought we might have a shootout, and we have not been disappointed. It's 48-30 now. Colorado State called timeout. They're going to go for two, try to get this to a 16-point game. Bell comes in. The lead back is Jimmy Green. Holland is underneath center. Anderson split at the top of the field. And they're going to try an end around to Anderson. He's going to try to throw it. He's in a lot of trouble. He will not get it off. And give Mahoney, David Mahoney, all the credit in the world. Mahoney just tracked him down, the junior out of Fort Myers, Florida. I mean, he had that one snipped out from the get-go.
Well, he did. His responsibility is contain. He had contain on the previous reverse. He did his job that time. He does it even better here. Stride for stride with the quick receiver. Stays after him and gets him on the ground. I think it was a mistake to go for two. You have a better chance to score 2 points by kicking the extra point twice, assuming that Colorado State's going to score another touchdown. You have a better chance to score 2 points by kicking it twice than by going for two times. Of course, next time they'll have to try to go for two again if they should score another touchdown, and they'll struggle again to try to make it. I mean, that's just what happens.
I hear you. I hear you.
You got a 33% chance of scoring a 2-point play. You kick the extra point, you probably got what, 98%? So you look at doing that twice, you got a better chance of scoring 2 points with the foot.
We've had 986 yards in total offense up to this stage. Again, a little squib kick being knocked down, and Navy having a little trouble with it. They finally pick it up. They're going to bring it out to the 30-yard line, and that is Anthony Piccone. And we want to remind you, Friday night, ESPN's Bowl road trip continues from Texas, Fort Worth Bowl. The Jayhawks of Kansas take on the Cougars of Houston. Coverage begins with a College Game Day Bowl special presented by Outback Steakhouse at 7:30 Eastern. Kansas-Houston also available in sparkling high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. Mark Mangino's Kansas Jayhawks finish the year with a 6-5 record. So Navy with the football, they have 48 points on the board with 11 minutes still left to go in this ball game. And here comes Ballard, the big battering ram, except I guess Colorado State wasn't anybody called a ram, but he just pounded them to the 40-yard line, picked up 9, and Kochevar there to make the tackle. So Navy goes right back to their ball control offense. Very effective thus far. Second down, a yard to go. This Navy team trying to go to 8-4 on the year. You can see what they've done tonight, 370 yards rushing. And they are 1 point shy of their highest offensive output of the season. And again, here he goes. Here is Ballard on his feet, shedding tacklers to the 30 to the 28-yard line. I mean, he was not going to be taken down easily. 32 yards on the play. Cathy eventually there to make the tackle.
The big man's ripping and snorting. Good job blocking. He's leaving shoes. He's leaving shoulder pads. He's leaving some sternums in his wake. I mean, look, he's running slap over it. That's a good football player. That's Miles Kochevar, who's a heck of a player. They can't drag him down. This is what happens with an offense like this. You get pounded down until you just can't go in the fourth quarter.
Reminds me a little bit of Kyle Eckel there, the big fullback before with Navy, who was running over people all the time. That was Ballard taking a page out of his book. Here's a pitch now quickly to the 20-yard line, and it's going to be Marco Nelson. Nelson taking it to the 20, a gain of 8, make it almost 9. It'll bring up second down.
One stat that we keep, thanks to Kim Anderson and his excellent system, is missed tackles. We got 10 missed tackles by Colorado State tonight. Navy has missed 3 tackles. And when you get in the open field and you start whiffing in the open field or getting flat out run over, then you're in trouble.
Steve Stenard, the defensive coordinator for Colorado State, cannot be pleased to hear that number. Second down, make it 2 yards to go. And handoff this time, it's Trey Hines. The first time we've seen Hines tonight. And Hines has been a backup fullback as well as a slot back. He is a junior out of Douglasville, Georgia. He was a Georgia State champ in the 200 meters, so he's got some speed. And there he is, Trey Hines.
3 yards.
You talk to Paul Johnson, and he talks about his speed. You got fullbacks that are 200-meter champs in a state like Georgia, where track is a very serious sport with a lot of speed. Then you're putting some people on the field that can run with anybody.
Well, he says he's the fastest player they have. So it'll be a first down now. They're going to mark the ball out at the 17-yard line. Navy trying to go over 50 points on the night, and straight ahead comes Ballard. Boy, is he tough up the middle. Courtney Jones there to make the stop.
Yeah. Courtney Jones won that one. He was able to shed the blocker. Number 52 middle linebacker Courtney Jones stepped up and met Ballard the way you have to meet a fullback like that, right with his face in the sternum, and just knocked him up and back. Got him stopped.
What they say about Courtney Jones, he's like a 52-year-old. That's his number 52. He's been so beat up all year long. Said he's the kind of guy that would play without a helmet.
Well, he's playing with a really sore MCL. I watched him warm up, and I wondered if he could play, but he's out there sucking it up, and they're going to need him. They're going to need him to get him stopped here.
He is a senior out of Arlington, Texas, and here is Owens back to throw. Overshot his intended receiver. That was Campbell at about the 1. There's a flag, however, inside the 5-yard line.
And not only is Reggie Campbell an excellent kick returner, runner, blocker, and receiver, he's a good official. He just made that call. He turned it because somebody grabbed him. They're going to call it pass interference. It could have been called holding just as easily. Somebody, I didn't see who it was. Somebody grabbed his shirt. Let's see if we can see it. If I was playing against Reggie, I might grab him too. I might tackle him before he could get out of the line of scrimmage. It's hard to see right there who it was. Looks like it might have been Kochevar. Yeah, Miles Kochevar realized he was beaten inside. And here again, what a dilemma for Kochevar. He's supposed to come up and tackle the pitch back on the option. He's also supposed to cover the deep middle. And he has to read that A-back as he releases, and that release sometimes is confusing for him. So he just grabbed a piece of jersey.
Campbell has 5 touchdowns, which ties a bowl record for any bowl. If he'd get another one here. Here's Nelson going in motion, and a handoff to the man we're talking about, and he's straightened up and slammed back. That's Travis Garcia. Garcia is quite a story. His father died prematurely at the age of 48 years old. He was a fireman in Longmont, Colorado. The players, the coaches, all concerned about how he'd respond. He came back to the team, has played his best football, and has recovered from that devastating loss.
Well, he's a terrific football player, a guy who walked on and earned a place in a scholarship on this team the hard way.
Second and goal now, the ball at the 5-yard line. Here is Campbell trying to get wide again. Cannot. He's going to be thrown back at the 7-yard line. If you're wondering, Barry Sanders is one of those guys that had 5 touchdowns in a game. He was playing for, of course, for Oklahoma State in the 1988 Holiday Bowl against Wyoming. And then you go back, Bill, to 1902. A guy by the name of Neil Snow of Michigan in the Rose Bowl. And then 1990, Sheldon Canley, San Jose State University in the California Bowl against Central Michigan. So it's pretty interesting company. Barry Sanders, you tie Barry Sanders in anything.
What a great player Barry Sanders was during his active time.
Third and goal now. Here is Owens back into the end zone, and the ball is up for grabs, batted around, and finally incomplete. It looks like Herbert got a hand on it for Colorado State. Boy, that ball was thrown in the crowd.
Well, we talked about how Justin Holland sometimes has too much confidence in his arm. That time, Lamar Owens had too much confidence that he thought he could drill it in there, and it was worth a shot.
So, 4th down, they're going to kick a field goal. And coming in will be Joey Bullen, who is out of the Georgia area, originally recruited to play soccer. And he is 8 of 11 in field goal department this year. This will be a 24-yard attempt out of the hold of Brian Hampton. And they go over 50 points on the night. 51-30. 6:51 left to go here in this inaugural Poinsettia Bowl in San Diego. welcome back. A little bit of this fabulous scenery here in San Diego as we have 6 minutes and 51 seconds left to go as Bullen, who just kicked a field goal a moment ago to make it a 51-30 game, will kick off. The highest point total of the season now by Navy. Herbert, Hill go back for Colorado State. Bullen's kick, he got into this one well, and drifting back will be Herbert at the 2. Herbert up to the 10, to the 15, and sidesteps a man to the 20 to the 22-yard line. So that's where they'll set it up. Want to thank Jonathan Lobovich, our producer. Our director is Brad Shelton, and the associate director, Evan Shalov. Associate producer, Daryl Green and Scott Tipton. Thanks, guys, in the truck. There's been a lot of things happening here tonight. And, of course, Bill, you and I both feel, we're prejudiced, of course. We think we have the best broadcast team in the booth you ever could come up with. Ken Trevor, Kim Anderson, and Kirk McCullough. Guys have done a great job. Thanks, and Merry Christmas to all of you. Back to throw now is going to be Holland. Holland up the middle. Anderson makes a catch at the 50-yard line. Bill, I tell you what, that now makes Holland 13 of 13 in his last 13 passes, and that's a 27-yard gain.
25 out of 32 for 360 yards, 3 touchdowns. Holland is doing his part. It's a matter of getting the plays called so that he has a chance to unleash this great arm of his, but he's certainly putting on a show.
He has his final game at Colorado State. 4 wide receivers, and he is buried. That's Tidwell again. Seems like we have called number 45's name all night long, and he has had a terrific football game. They say he's a 215 pounds. They call him skinny, but he goes 100 miles an hour. He has 13 tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 quarterback pressure. Yeah, that's a season for some guys.
Yeah, this is a excellent scheme. Nice job by Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator, getting his outside guys, of which Tidwell is one. The other one's David Mahoney. They're very well schooled, and they know when to come off the edge. They take good angles, and they can beat offensive tackles because they're smaller and quicker.
So this Navy team, who started 0-2 with losses to Maryland and Stanford, they've been 7-2 since. Their other losses later to bowl-bound Rutgers and Notre Dame. Their first 3 games were decided by 7 points or less. Today's Pontiac game-changing performance, well, we're going to look ahead and tell you at the Rose Bowl. And what a game that should be between the Longhorns of Texas and the Trojans of USC. We'll see another Reggie in that game. Vote now at ESPN.com.
I like the Reggie we got here tonight. This Reggie Campbell has really had a terrific evening in every conceivable way. He's even blocked well, and I can't say that enough times. Guy his size, that's not the easiest thing to do, but he gets his man on the ground and also scores touchdowns every way you can score them.
Okay, thus far in the ball game, we have 1,057 yards in offense. Still 6:21 left to go. Holland trying to add to that. Blitz coming. Holland gets rid of it. He's able to complete that ball, and it's going to be caught by a back we have not seen all night long. That is Gartrell Johnson. Johnson, a guy who's played very little this year, a redshirt freshman out of Miami Springs, Florida, caught the pass, and they did a nice job avoiding some real problems there. That'll be now 3rd down and still 10 yards to go.
But what's happened now is they've been schemed, meaning Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator, is outnumbering them, because that time Mahoney came clean. There was no blocker on him, and Justin Holland did a heck of a job to get rid of the ball.
I tell you, Holland's had a terrific second half. I mean, it's just been overshadowed by Navy's juggernaut offense. Holland in trouble now, and he got that one up in the air and threw it to the sideline. Was it near anybody?
No, that's going to be grounding.
David Mahoney was putting the pressure on.
That's going to be grounding.
Here it comes, the flag coming out.
You got to throw it beyond the line of scrimmage, and you have to be outside of where the tackles and tight ends normally line up, and he was neither. He did neither.
Mahoney is one of those guys, along with Caldwell and Biles and Tidwell. Those 4 linebackers are something.
Yeah, they've had a terrific night, and that time nobody came clean. There's the call.
State on the quarterback. The penalty play is loss of down. The offense retains possession at the spot of the pass. 4th down.
So now they'll have to punt the football.
And Hammerschmidt run out of plays. It'll be 4th down.
Well, he's run out of plays for 4th and 25. He doesn't have it. That's not on the play sheet. You know those little sheets?
Yeah, I know.
They ain't got any of those.
The percentages on that bill would be very poor.
That's when everybody looks at the head coach and you say punt the ball.
And so Kaler will come in and punt the ball, and he's one of the best. So they will punt it away to Navy with now 5.5 minutes left in this game. Kaler's punt coming up. Tomlinson, he is going to run it across the 35. Now they say he actually signaled for the fair catch, so they blow it dead there. Well, today's storylines brought to you by Kay Jewelers. And Campbell with 5 touchdowns, Nelson with 2. Holland has tried desperately to bring Colorado State back. Look at that, 373 yards passing.
He's been brilliant. No interceptions. He has not panicked. He hasn't done any of the stuff that maybe he was accused of in previous games. He's been brilliant. Every time he's been given a chance, he's taken his team down the field throwing the football.
They just can't stop Navy. And now in the quarterback is Jared Bryant. He is the new quarterback as they've taken Lamar Owens out of there. So Bryant is now in as we approach now 5 minutes left in this game. There's Bryant. You see Owens running into the locker room, and he's done a pretty fair job, I would think. The senior bowing out in great fashion for this Navy team. Boy, think about Navy now. Coming into this game tonight, Bill, they were 25-11 the last 3 years. I mean, this has really become quite a story. Here's Bryant to the 50, 45, 40, and Bryant stays on his feet inside the 35-yard line. It's a guy we didn't even have on our depth chart, Jared Bryant.
Obviously, he's going to be another one that's got that elusiveness. I'm sure his coaches will get him off on the side and remind him that they want him to stay in bounds and run this clock out rather than allow himself to be forced out. It looked like he was trying to stay in bounds. This is a busted play. He turned the wrong way.
Well, he's from Hoover, Alabama, Bill.
Well, Hoover has one of the great programs, one of the great high school programs in America.
5'10", 185-pound freshman. And this time Navy doesn't get much on the play on a first down as we now have 4:37 left to go in this one. That was Trey Hines carrying the ball. There is Bryant.
And Paul Johnson is clearing the bench now and getting a lot of his guys in the game so they can say they got on the field in a bowl game.
You know, it's interesting. They played 17 true freshmen this year. There's Bryant, the guy we're talking about. That's second only to Arkansas. Arkansas this year had 18 true freshmen that they played. That shows you bodes well for the future for Navy. Here's Bryant again. He's quick. And he gets to the 30 and he'll be tackled there. So Navy has come in here and they're going to go to 8-4. There is a late flag on the play. And Colorado State will finish at 500. They will be 6-6 on the year. And what we saw tonight was a tremendous offensive explosion, especially by Navy, as we have the call.
After the play was over, late hit, dead ball, personal foul, number 30 of the defense. That's 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
A little frustration right now.
Well, Miles, coach of ours, had a long night. He's made a lot of good plays, and he's been the victim of some excellent offensive execution, forcing him to commit to the run and having receivers run right by him.
He has 13 tackles tonight. He's been a workhorse. Of course, a lot of pressure on those safeties trying to hang in there against this triple option. Here's Bryant on a quarterback draw, and he'll be grounded back at the 19-yard line. So this Navy team with a great following, over 20,000 tickets sold. There's Lamar Owens, the senior out of Savannah, Georgia. Benedictine High School. You were talking about, you used to recruit that area a lot.
Yeah, we had some good players at Georgia Tech out of Benedictine. Very good players, a very good program, and has been for many, many years.
Looks like Courtney Jones kind of shaking up on the play. As we mentioned earlier, he's been playing hurt all year long. So here comes Navy back to the line of scrimmage. A lot of these guys getting a chance to play right now. You don't think they're not excited? They got a guy out there that might be 5'3".
I mean, look at these. I mean, it's just amazing what they're doing.
We've established you don't have to be tall to be a good football player.
We've already, that's right, Bill. We've already documented that very well. And Trey Hines, at fullback this time, pounds it forward. You know, you look at the history of Navy, and I always think of one guy in particular, Roger Staubach, who won the Heisman Trophy in '63. Scrambling ability, second player Navy to win the Heisman. Either Joe Bellino did earlier. Passed for 4,253 yards, 3,701 yards rushing. He served in Vietnam, and after that he joined the Dallas Cowboys, where he led the Cowboys to 2 Super Bowl victories. Look at this run, Bill. I was looking at this earlier. This is amazing.
Well, Roger's a great player and a great person.
Bryant comes out throwing, and this one is going to be intercepted and returned. This is Herbert, who's played a heck of a game. He's still on his feet to the 30. Herbert to the 32 and tackled there. Well, Roger Staubach, of course, was a guy who did it all for the Naval Academy, and I know you had some stories about Roger through the years. I had a chance to work with him in the booth.
Well, I was his center in the college all-star game in 1965, and when Roger sees me now, he says, here's Bill Curry. He's the reason that I broke my collarbone. I said, no, that was not my fault, Roger. That was not my pickup. Somebody else was supposed to pick up Galen Fisk, the linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. In those days, the college all-stars played the NFL world champions in a game at Soldier Field in Chicago. And it was a privilege to be on the field with Roger. He was injured in the game, but he went on to a great career.
Caleb Haney now is coming to quarterback for Colorado State. He was the guy that took over last year when Holland broke his ankle. Started 5 games for Colorado State. He's out of Forney, Texas, and could very well be their quarterback next year. This time he scrambles forward. And Galen Fisk, he was a University of Kansas graduate. Grew up about 20 miles from my hometown in western Kansas.
Well, he's a good player, and he's the guy that hit Roger Staubach perfectly legal on a blitz, but it wasn't my pickup.
It's the only, no, I was going to say, you never missed a block, right? Here's Damon Morton. Boy, this Morton has had a big game for them. Look at this. He's in the open field again. And Damon Morton is across the 45 to the 43-yard line.
I didn't say I never missed a block. I said I didn't miss that one.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking. I wanted to get the semantics
not my
right.
Responsibility.
Okay, well, I was giving you a lot of credit. I mean, take it.
You were lying, though. Anybody that saw me play knows that I miss blocks.
I don't know. I heard a lot of good things about you, Johnny Unitas, who both of us do so very, very well. He spoke very highly of you. There's a pass up the middle. Colorado State still fighting uphill. Corey Sperry, who started this game out in grand fashion, been very quiet since, caught a 25-yard pass.
Well, to be in the huddle with John Unitas, Bart Starr, Staubach, those guys, it's something you never forget. It was such a privilege, and great players, as everybody knows, and that's why they're legends.
Timeout now by Navy. I never understood, Bill, you're such a nice guy. You're so well-rounded. You're so astute in everything you do, and yet you did everything upside down playing football. Centers always saw everything upside down.
I'm not ssure I can respond to that.
Here is a guy that was just unbelievable. 5 touchdowns for this guy. That was the first one, a 55-yarder. Here's a 22-yard touchdown run by Reggie Campbell, tying a bowl record set by the likes of Barry Sanders. He goes in again. That's not a replay.
No, and what we're seeing time and again is his buddy blocking for him, Marco Nelson, out there on the grass. And what we're not seeing is the fact that he blocked just as well for Marco when it was his turn.
Well, there's the guys we alluded to earlier, Barry Sanders. And I'm not familiar with Canley or Snow, but that's a big number to put up. So now with 2 minutes left to go, Colorado State still trying to put some more points on the board. 2 minutes left. They have the ball at the 18-yard line and a first down. So Caleb Haney in at quarterback. He's a big 6'2", 230-pounder. Big, strong guy that has kind of like a linebacker's mentality. Quarterback draw to Haney. Haney to the 10. Haney to the 5. Look at him pump those legs. That's what they used to see from Bradley Van Pelt for so many years. He was a guy who could run with anybody, and that's a 14-yard pickup on the play. First and goal.
Yeah, Haney's excited to get in the game, obviously, and he's playing extremely well. He threw the ball well. And he is a big guy. Look at him explode over there. 6'2", 230, I think you said that. And He was ripping through tackles. He looked like one of these fullbacks, or Kyle Bell, his teammate.
He played in the last game against UNLV, did a nice job, had a couple of touchdowns against the University of Minnesota, and getting a chance now to get some valuable playing time and make his statement for next season. As Haney goes in a timing pattern, ball up far side, and it's caught, and it's Sperry, and Sperry, they're going to say he was out of bounds. He was out of bounds. Sperry just out of bounds.
Nice job by Greg Thrasher of forcing the action so that Sperry had to get over on the side. And I like the way the two officials from the Mid-American Conference handle this. They conferred. They didn't just make a snap judgment. They stood there. What did you see? Did you see his foot come down? Let's take a look now and see if they got it right. Uh-oh. He's in. That's a touchdown. I bragged too soon. As I was saying, the Mid-American officials made a mistake on that. Well, now, I couldn't see it until we got the play back.
I tell you, yeah, no integrity whatsoever. Now, I'm surprised they didn't review that. And here is now Haney rolling around, just getting rid of it. He tried to hit Walker at the near side with 1:23 left to go.
Well, that should be grounding, too. I don't know that they'll call it. They didn't pause to review that a while ago, which they probably should have done. And now they're probably not going to call him for grounding because I think they may want to get on back to the hotel.
Yeah. Well, Sperry started this game, Bill, like he was going to have the all-time night, and he still had a great night. 8 catches, 117 yards. He came in here with 34 catches and 4 touchdowns. And just remember this guy. He's going to be a real impact player the next 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Haney again, and this is going to be a jump ball in the back. Nope, too far out of the back to Sperry, and that will fall incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And who's still out there pressuring the quarterback? Caldwell, number 57. And we got Tidwell, Caldwell, and Mahoney, the linebackers, 33 tackles tonight. That's what linebackers are supposed to do. They've had a great game.
They really have had a great game. You say, well, how can they have a great game and you've given up this many points? But they have really, they had Holland playing as well as he could play, and they made it as difficult as they possibly could.
Holland had a career night, did a brilliant job, and yet they were able to win the game because the linebackers were all over the field.
So Haney now on a 4th down and goal from the 5-yard line. The blitz is coming. He throws it in the back for Walker, incomplete, and Navy will take over on downs.
3 consecutive mistakes by Haney, and he'll learn from this, and that's one good thing about getting a youngster in the end of the season like this, because they'll have that film to work off of. He threw the ball away in an incorrect fashion, then he threw 2 out of the back of the end zone, so they didn't have a chance to score.
So a growing period for him, and he'll be their guy. So he'll be battling a guy by the name of Billy Ferris as the starting quarterback. They also have a freshman they brought in this year that they like. And with now 1:15 left in the game, Navy will be content now to just eat up the rest of this clock, I would assume. Brian Hampton has come in at quarterback for him. And Hampton, who's a holder on placements, a junior out of Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. And that's Hampton continuing to move up the field. Travis Garcia there to make the tackle as we now have a minute to go in the ball game. Well, what's come out of this to me, Bill, is that Navy is really a load. I mean, they are not a lot of fun to play.
Well, remember, this is a year when only 6 starters were coming back out of 26 if you count specialists. And so everybody talked about rebuilding except Paul Johnson. We thought they could be good, and by golly, they certainly have been.
And what did he say? We want no excuses. He will not accept any excuses.
No excuses for not winning. And, of course, when you're at a service academy at a school like that, you have a special responsibility in terms of leadership because of the people that you answer to, which is all the service people all over the world.
He was 2-10 his first year, and then a year ago they won 10 ball games. That tied the school record for wins. First 10-win season in 99 years last season, and they're going to finish this year 8-4. And with all these guys like Campbell coming back, you figure they're going to be a handful next year. As this time Hampton moves it out, and that's going to bring us to the end of this football game. And Navy with 51 points here tonight, defeating Colorado State in the first Poinsettia Bowl. And you can see the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl champions, the midshipmen of the Naval Academy.